Yeah.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Ludo History, and to more Bioshock Infinite, with Reed. Say hello.
Hello. It's the religious studies and sometimes microbio person back at it again.
We're back! We're doing it more. As you very helpfully said, Lom Data Sentiment, by the way, welcome. Why we hate imperialism, but love the architecture it's created, part 2. Extremely true, and I regret nothing. Oh boy.
Oh, and this time I can hear the music and it's really nice.
I know, right? I got an internet upgrade, folks, so you're probably not seeing any difference on your end, but that's because all of it is going straight to Reed's computer. I know, I was... Look, chat, I'm going to reveal something. My internet, for the past, almost year of streams, the download speed here was 40 megabits per second. 40 in 2020 and 2021. Absolutely catastrophic. It's a miracle I was able to do anything.
Airship. That could be our ticket out of here.
So we're fixing. We're fixing. We fixed that. It's up to 200 now, which means I have enough upload to actually stream at any resembling quality. Anyway, we have time for the old time announcer base again. Bioshock Bay, we are here in 1999. We actually had a very picturesque version of a static image. We're real proud of it.
Not quite sure what that told us, but
Yeah.
alright. Love the old-timey film, though.
Love the old-timey film. It looks gorgeous, though. It looks absolutely freaking gorgeous.
I know last time I commented about how it just reminds me of the US Navy and how that was used in imperialism, but it... just that giant gunship there.
It's not subtle, is it?
Nope. I mean, nothing in this game is, but...
No, this game has no subtlety whatsoever. Oh.
Tell me about it. An Oriental stopped me on the street and asked me for the time. Just like that. There should be a law. I think there is.
Why are you like
Oh,
this?
no.
Why are you...
Maybe you and I should go for a walk along the shore.
I'm not going on any walk.
Oh boy.
Just some of the passing dialogue is really bad. And it reminds me how terrible Columbia is in the midst
Oh,
of all
yeah.
this architecture.
Oh yeah. City looks gorgeous, city is a dumpster fire.
Yes.
If he says he has a plan, then he has a plan.
Oh, I see some people doing exercises over there.
Uh-huh.
Because this is the start of the time where people actually start doing exercises for medicinal purposes. I
Yep.
know Kellogg was, at least in his mental hospital, he was big on prescribing
Miss
various
Elizabeth.
treatments like that.
Oh, this is wonderful. Oh, come dance with me, Mr.
I
Dwayne.
don't dance. Come on, let's go.
Do you have to be such a killjoy?
How about Paris?
Paris? I don't understand. How could we get there?
That's where that airship's going, but if you want to stay and dance, we
No,
can...
let's go. Come on, let's go.
So ruining her fun and also kind of lying.
Straight up super lying to her. We're
Yeah.
good people.
It's hard to believe.
This is the protagonist we're rooting for here.
Yay!
You smell that?
Hang on, I hear music.
Anything like that before, have you?
Beaches I know don't smell much like that.
Where's the music coming from?
It sounds kind of like
It's
carnival-y.
it's girls just want to have fun.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I hear that now.
But I just can't figure out where it's coming from.
Do you know this artificial beach was built in only 6 months?
And how do you know that?
From one of the books I threw at you. They also search passing well for reading.
Good exercise, good exercise. Keep going, keep going. I believe.
It's like a real
Stretching's important.
Yep.
It's just
Yep.
a set of elaborate pumps and rain
Chat, make sure you stay stretching. She can take care of herself, thanks.
Your brother. Look at him. He's got the
Oh, and Riley brought up on the Discord server, yeah, the Battleship Bay design looks like Columbia, like Lady Columbia's hat in
Oh yeah.
a political cartoon from.
Oh yeah, it totally does. But this game does such a good job with, you know, at least acknowledging... Okay, I know it went off that way, I just don't remember how to get up. Because that's where I came from, so that's not helpful. I guess we go into the arcade? Can we go into the arcade? We cannot. Okay.
Ah, that's a shame.
Lame. But yeah, right, this game is so clever about all of its historical referencing. It uses a lot of political cartoons. And like we found, you know, the press from last time was Am I Not a Brother and a Man? For the anti-slavery.
Thank you, AC, if
yep.
AC ever listens to this.
He
for
will,
pointing that
probably.
out.
But yes, thank you to AC Esquire for locating that for us. And the Duke and Dimwit advertisings.
Oh, yeah.
Like, those
like
are
to
actually
see more of
historically
that later.
attested. Yep, we don't swim. We cannot swim, so,
0 out of 10 game, can't swim off the edge of Columbia.
I guess... Darn. Would be better than this.
Comstock. I've read about him. They say he can see the future.
Yeah.
And a little power. He falls in all kinds of love with himself.
I don't like his look.
Do you dislike the look of the prophet or his gaze?
Can we leave now?
No. No, we cannot leave now.
I know she says she doesn't
No, we
like
can
his
have-
look, but he does have some style. I'll
This
say
man has a beard. This man has a beard to
Yeah.
be envied.
It is a very nice beard. I know last time I said reminds me of Dwight Moody and his magnificent beard, but
It
Still.
still reminds me of Dwight Moody and his magnificent beard. Just don't mind me, we're just gonna rob the place blind on the way out the door.
Fall
And-
into water did you no favors. I'll keep an eye out for something that
Yeah.
relieves your pain.
Yeah, I'm a little bit drowned, so,
Mr. DeWitt, here.
Bird.
Or the cage.
Or perhaps the bird.
Nothing beats the cage.
He's still again. How did...
a great question.
Never mind.
I wouldn't just dismiss that so quickly, but okay.
What are we doing?
Look at these, they're amazing. Which one do you like more, this one or this? The bird is beautiful and the cage is somber, but there's really something special about it. I
Well,
just can't decide.
Chat, which one are we gonna choose? The cage or the bird?
Well,
It doesn't matter, but which one are we gonna choose anyway?
And I will judge you, chat, for which one you pick. But
or
Bird, 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 bird,
It's
bird,
looking
bird,
like
bird, bird, bird. That was unanimous.
are you sure?
I'm sure.
I love it.
Surprising. I expected the cage.
If you're going to be a sore loser, then I shan't do this again.
Now that's just sophistry.
Anyway, there was actually a request that we're going to humor, so audio might cut out chat for a bit, but you know, we need to pull up some people's faces and then go compare them to Comstock to see who is the most, which pseudo-religious late 19th century American is the most Comstock.
Brigham Young is another person that was brought up in my mind just because of all the Latter-day Saints
Yeah.
themes they bring up with like a new prophet. But Brigham Young just doesn't have quite the same beard. His beard doesn't go like over the mouth as much.
Okay, this is Joseph Smith III. We're just gonna download some things real quick, and then we will compare them.
Oh, you're going with Joseph Smith? He doesn't even have a beard.
The third. the third.
Oh, just got it. He does have a very nice beard. Can't
It's
argue
not.
with
It's not
that.
as nice though.
True.
Like. Okay. So chat. We're gonna pull up some images, and then we're gonna go find Comstock's face again. Option
Also,
2.
If you do want to pull up another picture, Anthony Comstock.
Anthony
would
Comstock.
compare
Perfect.
to.
We will
know, the
add him.
namesake.
Add him to the pile.
I didn't talk about him really last stream, but I'm going to get to him this stream.
Joseph Smith the third.
Oh. Riley added me with.
Uh,
Brigham Young does have a pretty large beard. It's just not quite the same as Comstock's.
we're gonna see it. We're gonna see all the beards. We
And
yes, we are
hello.
judging. We are judging the moralizers of the 19th century based on the quality of their beard, and I regret
Oh,
nothing.
here we go.
Like these are so. This is the important content you all strive for. Oh, that's where this guy's from. Okay. I knew I recognized the name. I didn't realize he was the YMCA founder head person.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Anyway.
yeah, the YMCA is pretty cool.
Uh-huh.
At least
We will.
from history stance.
This is a good point to where we can totally talk about that while we are doing the beer judging contests.
Perfect. So, the YMCA, similar to, I guess, like organizations like the Salvation Army, were pretty big in the late 19th and early 20th century. They did a lot of evangelizing in cities. The urban setting is where they mostly operated out of. And basically, once they came to America, they found these cities. And at the time, cities were really thought of as morally corrupt and sinful. And so, really, they had
You
a
alright?
big mission to try and introduce Protestant Christianity into those cities, even though they're still kind of all mostly Protestant, but of course immigrants came in who were more Catholic. But the YMCA was actually a pretty big movement in not only missions at home in the US, but also abroad. At least like missions in China were pretty big and run mostly out of like YMCA operations. So the YMCA also helped a lot with late 19th century revivals, which is where I mostly know them from. But
Anyway, our Comstock. The glorious, luscious, well-groomed beard. This man uses beard oil every single day. You know it.
yes, Anthony Comstock, late 19th. Well, when was he? Oh yeah, he was born in 1844, but died in 1915, so mostly late 19th century.
Yep, and this photo's from him
Big.
from the first decade of the 1900s.
Ah, nice.
So he's
Anthony
got
Comstock was a veteran of the Civil War and a big proponent of the anti-vice movement. He even founded the New York Society for Suppression of Vice. And so basically just getting people jailed and imprisoned for either things that offended Victorian morality and sentimentality, or just getting them thrown in jail for gambling and just censorship. He was big on censorship. One of his actually read of his was debating art versus morality and what art is acceptable and what art isn't acceptable. So he's very picky about what is moral and what is immoral.
quite a lot like a certain prophet, or wannabe prophet. Right, Comstock here with the button shops is almost certainly the namesake for our Comstock.
Absolutely.
Though I don't think they ever I don't think Ken Levine has ever explicitly said that.
Though our Anthony, well, real life Anthony Comstock, he actually was his name was used in a series of laws called Comstock laws, which, again, were trying to legislate morality and introduce a more censorship and harsher restrictions on immoral things. I do that in air quotes, but you can't see my hands. But yeah, basically, he was real big in that movement.
And then next up, you know, chat. What was the beard quality? What was the beard quality for Comstock with the mutton chops? Because next up we have, in my opinion, the far superior beard of Joseph Smith III. Not the original Joseph Smith. The original Joseph Smith is pretty much went clean shaven for his entire life. But
And
Joseph Smith III
Just
went
to-
all in.
just to clarify something for the chat, because that might be confusing, but Joseph Smith III is actually the son of the founder of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Joseph Smith Jr. was the one who said he was a prophet. His father was the original Joseph Smith.
Yep.
So there are a lot of Joseph Smiths here, but
It's not exactly a rare name.
yeah.
But this man knows how to grow a beard, though, unfortunately, he forgot the beard oil. It's a bit scraggly looking.
Definitely.
9.5 out of 10 on the beard there. Mutton
That's
chops were.
pretty high.
Rat says the mutton chops were 7 out of 10. That's a choice. But yeah, Joseph Smith III was the second head of the church, right? Because Smith died before the actual emigration, emigration to
Yeah.
Utah.
He
Brigham
did,
Young actually
but
took charge, but then didn't Joseph Smith take charge after Young died?
Joseph Smith III took charge of there are many groups that emerge after kind of the succession crisis when Joseph Smith dies, and Joseph Smith III takes over one of the smaller groups that did not go to Utah.
Okay.
Brigham Young brought them to Utah, and Joseph Smith III I think he was still back on the East Coast, either in Pennsylvania or New York, if I'm remembering right, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, he died in Missouri. So
Well,
I was wrong about
May
the
it
exact
Parkway.
location.
anyway. Brigham Young, up next. Clearly an influence, but not a super magnificent beard.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
not a huge fan.
not the biggest fan of this beard, to be honest.
Right. Well, I get the shaving the mustache as a sort of stance of anti-militantism turned into general anti-vice, which Riley very helpfully talked about in chat just a moment ago. But, kind of a mediocre beard. Kind of a really mediocre beard. And then clearly the best beard choice
Yes,
is Dwight Moody.
Dwight Moody himself.
Though, I mean, we all know, while this is up, feel free to talk, but we know the actual beard influence is Charlton Heston.
Mm-hmm.
It's known. And we talked about Moody a bunch last time.
Yeah. Dwight Moody, major late 19th century revivalist, died in 1899. I incorrectly said 1900 last time, but he basically set the tone for revivalism in his generation. Everyone wanted to emulate his style, pretty much. He spawned basically a whole generation of revivalists that were, at least Dwight Moody was described as speaking simply to the masses rather than getting ingrained in theological debate, even though a lot of his followers would end up being major proponents of the fundamentalist movement, which kicked off in the early 20th century, but also started to be talked about in the late 19th. So a lot of his followers ended up, at least the Moody Bible Institute, which he established, became basically a bastion of fundamentalism, and a lot of his followers would go on to help either write the fundamentals or be proponents of them. And I see you got the Moses picture up there.
Exactly.
Love it.
Clearly the actual influence. But I mean, you need a prophet image. That is the prophet image. That is a screen cap from the Ten Commandments movie starring Charlton Heston. Not a 19th century revivalist, but when we're thinking about prophets and, pseudo prophets in modern imagination, you can't understate that one.
Oh, apparently, at least it was brought up in chat that a highly religious developer wanted to leave the team over the game's portrayal of Christianity, which, although I argue the game doesn't go far enough with its critique, which we'll get into later with how
The back half of the game will talk about that.
Yes, but that is fair. Some people could see the game's critique of Christianity and politics as more of an attack, but I still think so far, at least for the time period, this is a very fair critique of how it's handled.
Yeah. Fair going on fairly, honestly, milquetoast. We're just gonna yoink those caramels. We're gonna yoink those caramels. Don't mind me. Anyway, the newspaper print about the anarchists. We talked about them last week, but they're not... Anarchists were a bigger concern in Europe by a small margin, but still, a lot of panic around anarchists around this time. For not totally obvious reasons. There are like a handful of high-profile attacks with anarchists, and that turns into a giant thing that is really not based in anything.
Yeah, the fear-mongering around political dissidents, and just people who are not part of the mainstream political parties just really is strong during this time. And so anarchists are something that are not well understood by most people, and it's really easy to target them with kind of the yellow journalism, the sensationalist style of writing that was going around.
And yes, senseless musing, there was a Red Scare in the 1920s, where like anarchists and communists blended together despite being dramatically different in their actual beliefs. Like even a cursory knowledge says that.
Mm-hmm.
They just all get lumped into a not, for lack of, not us, for lack of a better word, and Colombia is a big representation of what does it mean to be not us.
Oh, in the chat someone brought up, when you say go further, I don't mean show that Christianity is inherently terrible, because, well, first of all, to kind of present my own bias, I am a Christian, but, I don't think they should have gone that direction. They should have just fleshed out... They should have fleshed it out a little bit more, because right now it is strong, but they don't follow through with it. They don't continue on with this line of thinking, and they don't carry it to its logical conclusions. Rather, they try their best to show Comstock as a kind of fluke, a religious cult or fanatic that is nothing like any of the actual influences of Christianity and politics that we see in our day, even though there are those influences still left in the game.
Yeah, we're gonna the back half of the game's gonna be a time, guys. We'll talk more about the problems with this game in the back half of this game, because there is a lot. But now, the kind of closest we can see is that in many ways they're representing this really stereotyped American aesthetic, with the bathing suits and the sundresses and how everyone looks, and the way that the people down there kind of forgot to care about, the statue exploding for a while. They seem to have paid attention now, but they certainly weren't when we landed. It was still on fire then.
Yeah.
But and they really lean into the American imperialist architecture. Because, as Riley helpfully told us after last week, the official name for this lovely brownstone is American Imperial. Oops. And, you know, they're showing a lot of things that are well attested in American culture, like, you know, the anti-Semitic stereotype right there.
Absolutely.
But then, they try and go, oh, this is not what America actually is.
Put those
Yeah.
arms up now. Fingers apart. Legs apart.
Yep.
Stand still. Now hold steady.
I ain't getting through there.
I have just the thing. Come on.
Are you just gonna, like, stand in plain sight? Are you actually gonna just stand in plain sight of all these people?
Hey, copper! Look at this one! He's suspicious, if you ask me.
All right. Quiet down there.
What's happening?
Go home and dry yourself.
Yep, totally fine. Come on.
What is happening?
Damn thing's locked.
Elizabeth,
What are you doing?
You're a roguish type. What does it look like?
we are in plain sight. We are in literal plain sight.
Trapped in a tower with nothing but books and spare time? You would be surprised what I know how to do.
Yes. Let's just steal everything. Steal literally everything that's not nailed down.
I know we saw kind of a beer or smuggling, basically an alcohol installation previously, but did they actually address if alcohol is banned in Colombia?
Alcohol is not banned in Colombia.
Okay.
Yeah, the guy over there was very drunk.
Okay,
It seems to
yeah.
be kind of discouraged, but there aren't bars around that we've seen. I think
Well, we did walk through that one bar.
we did walk through one thing that wasn't clear.
You bet me no never mind.
Real.
Some foolishness, you know.
Don't worry.
Just monkey shines.
I just think it's a little odd because at this time, you know, there are a lot of
Temperance
major
or
temperance
prohibitionist
movement going
movements,
on.
yeah.
the women's Christian temperance movement being the major one.
Hey,
But
I found these silver
like
labels.
a lot of major revivalists were very pro-temperance, and prohibition is right around the corner in our timeline. So I'm a little surprised, but good to see it's
Probably a
still
good
discouraged in some ways.
Yeah, right, because it's unclear whether the servant... yeah, we'll say servant. That's not the word I want to use, but it is technically the one that's accurate.
Yeah.
It's unclear whether these are beer bottles or soda bottles. Right, both are kind of around. And they're being very cagey about it.
Try asking the girl a few key questions, such as, don't you think those Vox Populi folk have
Look
a
over
valid
here.
complaint against the Prophet? And I'm sure some of your friends have attended meetings. I'd sure like to see what they're all about.
Yes, indeed, old-timey radio announcer. That's totally wise. Yeah, I think I knew. Yeah, no, we'll just take it. And if we head over here, Daisy Fitzroy. When I first seen Columbia, that sky was the brightest, bluest sky that ever was. Seemed like heaven. Then your eyes adjusted to the light, and you saw that sea of white faces. Or then you saw that sea of white faces looking hard back at you. Yup. Yup.
That definitely
Daisy
feels
Fitzroy?
like a lot of... Oh, sorry.
Daisy Fitzroy is the leader of the Vox Populi, guys.
Hey, mister. We'd like to help you.
Do I know
Aw.
you?
Back at the lottery, you.
It's the...
Aw.
Without you, we wouldn't have gotten away.
Daisy always said somebody like you would come along.
Well, what do we actually have right now? I'll actually equip this one. Because if I'm not bad at aim, this should be useful.
Fairly well healed, Mr. Dwayne.
Good.
I am
And
bad at
that,
aim, but that has nothing to do with it.
That whole sentiment of things seeming good at first and then realizing kind of first of all, the racism, and then just all the poor conditions of, I guess, the US/Colombia. Really echoes a lot of immigrant experiences
Yeah,
who came to America.
yeah, they do.
So full of hope, but then hit with the economic inequality and then
Would you happen to
the
have the time?
just nativist sentiment against them.
Newest one in the series.
Like even the Upton Sinclair's The Jungle really shows that they came to America looking for hope, but they found the hardship of being lower class and hated by nativists and
True.
people in the U.S.
And
That
it
was
is.
published in
That'll do.
1906.
It is worth acknowledging that while people of color faced a sort of second layer
Absolutely.
of racism, the experience was generally not good for anyone. It. We'll get back to him. We'll get back to Washington. No.
Oh.
Oh boy. But right, there's
Washington and
huge
the Angel of Columbia?
anti-Italian. There's huge anti-Irish. There's even anti-Norwegian. Right. Well, we think of like Germans and Scandinavian people as sort of the ideal immigrants from this time. It is extremely worth acknowledging that in the late 1800s, there was actually a big question as to what extent Scandinavian people, especially being relatively poor, Norwegians mostly, and some Swedes and Danes, would be seen as white. And so the idea of them being quote-unquote model immigrants, i.e. the whitest of all white immigrants, is something that's intentionally constructed by immigrants themselves, combined with what is at the time a deliberate de-emphasizing of the lived conditions in Germany or Scandinavia.
You get, of course, organizations like the American Protective Association and very obviously the KKK, who really went after immigrants, and for a lot of the reasons you listed before.
Yeah. And yeah, Riley very helpfully pulls out Joel Haglund, better known as Joe Hill, was Swedish. He was a union organizer and pro-labor songwriter. Hey you. Do you not recognize me? Do you not recognize me? I nearly threw a baseball at you.
Nope, apparently
not.
Just forgets about it, even though I think that was in-game like this morning or something like that.
Yeah. Something like that. Well, this is horrifying. Solidly creepy doll vibes.
Yeah.
0 out of 10.
Washington with basically American flag wings.
Yep. Yeah, actually, this is the only time we see a Patriot that we don't have to try and immediately shoot the Patriots, so, let's actually take a look at that.
Yeah.
Firstly, they mentioned they mentioned the cherry tree, and then they immediately went into Manifest Destiny good, and fought back the roving hordes of not white people.
And of course, the crossing of the Delaware too is very mythologized and
extremely mythologized.
How America nobly paddled across the river to attack sleeping people on Christmas Day. Definitely noble, but
oh yeah, totally. Yep, fine and good, and nothing bad here.
Oh, sorry.
What?
Yeah.
No, I was just agreeing with you.
And yeah, those flags very much look like angel wings, and just contributes to the idea of making figures of American history or definitive figures like this more holy, or giving them religious imagery.
Yep.
Which, yeah.
It's exactly as bad as it sounds.
Yeah. I mean, there is a whole, like, apotheosis of in the Rotunda, so this is not, like, completely unfounded in history, because they're literally depicting Washington becoming a god. So, it is very much rooted in the US and actual practices, because these were intentional images made to try to unite America behind them.
By the way, when I was talking about it being other, who gets counted as not white, look at that.
Be Irish.
Black and Irish people. Super gross. Oh, hey, look at that. Well, this is, you know, an ad for a Vigor. Norman Rockwell art style? Anyone?
Oh, definitely.
Right, the Norman Rockwell aesthetic is very present. Hello, sir. I'm sure we're gonna have to shoot you in a bit. Which makes sense, right? I mean, if you need a single artist who glamorizes the American ideal and the American way of life, it's Rockwell, especially scouting. Right, he did a absolute boatload of scouting paintings.
Annabelle?
Excuse me?
Annabelle, it's me, Esther.
Oh, no, I'm not Annabelle.
Are you sure?
My name is Elizabeth. Do I know you?
Elizabeth. Isn't that a lovely name?
That was odd.
That was odd.
Last customer.
Very weird.
Park's closing. Park's closing, everyone.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
shoes sure could benefit from a shine. Guess I haven't paid much attention.
Hall of Heroes.
Well, I'm excited for the Hall of Heroes.
Hall of Heroes is going to be a lot.
There'll be a lot there.
Go on ahead.
Uh-oh, we got more music.
Definitely American folk,
Have you
at
got
least
sauerkraut?
inspired.
Sauerkraut?
Yeah.
I guess so.
Oh,
I'll
sir.
take, one, please. How much?
One silver eagle.
All right.
One sauerkraut? What?
Apparently,
odd.
he's just going for sauerkraut. All right.
I mean, like, sauerkraut's good, but just
Yeah,
sauerkraut?
strong words there. Sauerkraut is edible. Keep playing, sir. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here.
Two tickets for passage to the First Lady airship.
Yeah, just a minute, friend.
Uh-huh.
I have it. How do you?
Yeah, I wonder if we're gonna be going behind.
I wonder if
that
we're about to be
in a
shooting.
little bit. Yeah,
I got it. I'll ring you back. with
that
some
very
next
blatant upgrade
Yes.
behind
Yep.
the counter.
We're ready to execute.
Excuse me, can I get some help here?
Certainly, sir. Sorry about the wait.
What are you doing? Get the girl! Get off of me!
Well, that was a knife to the hand. Ow.
Open fire!
Get away from me!
Well, we didn't even take any injury. The shield took it all. The shield took...
Perfect.
Elizabeth!
Stay away from me!
Stabbed in the
Very
hand.
effective guard
No
there.
blood, no nothing. Don't worry about it. We're fine.
Bash his brains out!
What, are we doing this?
Surrounded!
Seriously? No. Well,
Elizabeth!
we're fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. This wasn't exactly, Oh, good. We can get a new weapon now.
Oh, nice.
So, chat, are we gonna go with our fancy golden machine gun? Or are we gonna go big brain and go shotgun? No, we don't have a 50% crit rate, we have a plus 50% crit damage. So our headshots on pistol hit for like 7 trillion damage.
I'm seeing keep your golden guns, but also a go with the shotgun. So
Yeah, there's a donation for shotgun. Remember, you can make me swap weapons around by using channel points. 1,200 channel points will make me swap out my weapons at the earliest convenient opportunity. Limit one weapon per switch.
Oh, quite a bargain with only 1,200.
12, exactly.
I just realized I have a lot of channel points saved.
You have a lot of channel points right now.
It's more difficult. I can.
You sure can. If you want to make me hand cannon, I can't stop you. Anyway, I wanted to see if there was a way into here. Also, wasn't there one of these? Fall Shepherd is here. The day was not exact, but the prophet's type proves that again. The specimen must be taken alive. If she dies, I suspect they will give us to the third. And whatever pieces it leaves behind will bear no names. That was cigarette number 6. This waiting is insufferable. Okay, so the person we saw earlier was trying to just confirm identity of the target.
Right.
They still refer to her as a specimen, which, as
No,
was pointed
not
out
great.
last stream, not great, but
Not a huge fan of that. Nope.
Perfect.
You are correct. It will play sound. I have chosen to not play sound for it because we have too many things to talk about when we can actually see things. Because there are... Oh, look, it's another Comstock one.
oh, lovely.
Let's see what he says this time. Because if they take so long to speak the dialogue, that will run into things. As the months and years turned to memories, so did the men of Congress turn to righteousness. And through the technology of men, the dollars of Washington, the Lord worked his will upon Columbia and raised her high above the Sodom below. Oh boy.
Yeah, the usage of Sodom to refer to America is very common with just most more evangelical style preaching, with calling a sinful location or city Sodom, which fits a lot with, you know, late 19th century attitudes towards cities.
Come back here!
What are you doing? Where did you go? Why did you go?
So can't seem to hit the levers.
Uh-huh, Skyhook. What? Are you that flimsy?
I can't believe you did that.
Yep.
We're all dead.
Yep.
They're
You
kind of
killed those
attacking you.
people.
Elizabeth,
You're a monster.
Yes, congratulations for noticing.
what did you think was gonna happen?
Okay, Booker is definitely a
Understand
monster,
the
but that
expense.
case is definitely more
People may think to
self-defense.
keep you
Like, they
locked up.
stabbed your hand.
This was extremely justifiable.
You think people like that are just gonna let you walk away? You are an investment, and you will not be safe until you are far.
Yes, Columbia was constructed with taxpayer dollars.
What from me?
I don't know. That's the last time anyone gets the drop on me.
I don't think that's the right attitude you should have.
Oh, our hand is still bleeding apparently. Okay, good to know.
How was he even able to shoot with that?
I don't know.
Not the last of it.
The force of the gun just...
That should hurt like hell, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially since the gun he's using is not small. This is a Mauser C96, which is a German gun, but that's okay. So,
I've read a thing or two about medicine. Do my
They could have
best
gone
to
with a
describe
more
it.
American...
they could
like,
have gone with a far more... Yeah. Yeah.
Keep you on the side of
I think the hand cannon is cold though, if I'm remembering right. I am not super familiar with guns, but the hand cannon is a revolver, so... I assume they may be going for a cold peacemaker. Wow. What a view.
Just love the design of
The
Columbia.
design of
Even
Columbia
though-
is so freaking good.
Yeah, if you give it any thought, it's so impractical, but I love it too much.
Correct. 100% agree. Anyway, where are we going now? Soldiers Field.
Oh,
Well, this ought to be interesting.
I'm sure we'll get more veteran imagery and just American imagery
Yep.
here.
Yep. I think we may be getting close to time for the. Oh, no, we're not quite at the museum yet. We're at the
Ah, rip.
horrible, still horrible news, but a different sort of horrible news. Oh dear. Oh dear.
Oh. They're offering full scholarships, so at least that's something.
True. True. Okay, I want to be anywhere but here right now.
Yeah, training kids to be soldiers, I mean, like, the Boy Scouts was a thing. That is mostly what the Boy Scouts kind of did.
Yeah,
a lot of
in the
villages.
beginning, yeah. That's a fair account of where we started, of where it started.
Yeah. Apparently, the Boy Scouts of America was founded in 1910, so we're on track timeline-wise, but still,
Yes.
this is very much explicitly soldier training, while the Boy Scouts was
Yep.
a little more...
Also,
covered up
this
in
one is also fairly clearly inspired, in a sort of pseudo-religious way, but to the Hitler Youth.
Absolutely.
So-
That is a very good comparison.
Oh boy. A study in the sky? Impossible! The Great Lady of Science shows off her wonders. Well, gee, haven't we seen you before? How did that darn thing fly? Rockets? Balloons? Quantum mechanics, says the little lady. We say it's more like women's intuition. Gotta get the casual sexism in.
Yeah.
Big fan of it. Big fan.
I mean,
Can we pop the
definitely women
balloons?
in science at the time was not very common, but
Yeah.
still,
But they
it
still
just
very much
really had
existed.
to- yeah, they really had to shoehorn in.
Now, that being said, quantum mechanics did not exist.
Yeah.
Like,
1912 quantum mechanics.
Poof.
What timeline is this?
that is a...
Oh no, I just noticed that sign. Oh
Uh-huh,
boy.
I'm gonna put a hole in every... Perfect.
You know, it would
Perfection.
be so cathartic if they just gave you a flamethrower to every now and then, like, burn down those signs or statues
True.
or whatever.
Kate, shut up tight. Now how are we gonna get to the airship?
Let me see if I can get that.
I guess they
gate
do
open
give
by
you a
hand.
vigor with flame powers, but still.
Good call. Very good call. Well, misaimed that.
bounces.
We'll try again. It seems to not explode till it hits the ground, so...
Oh no, it's just weird.
Boo.
Hey, look. There's a lock.
Elizabeth, a little help.
Child's play.
Yeah.
Done.
Upgrades. More salts. I
Just what
guess.
the doctor ordered.
Requires 5 lockpicks. I don't have 5 lockpicks. Is this a different gun? Ooh, this is the carbide.
Ooh.
Chad, are we doing this? I do like the carbide a lot.
Look at that.
Days at Comstock House was simple. Hard work, sure, but simple. Wringing the linen, scrubbing the floors. Lady Comstock, she even had a kind word now and then. Almost enough to make me think I had a place in their world. God made foolish girls so he could have something to play with.
I think this
Carbide ammo.
that recording was actually very good for demonstrating. Hey, although there were like some better moments, it still was terrible.
Yeah, it's...
I say better in a lot of air quotes there. But.
Exactly.
You could try
Like, I know the Lost Cause pulls upon the image of the kind slave owner, which is awful and kind of sickening.
Yep.
But
Shocky. Who who needs the power company?
Some fool's alternative.
Also, it looks like we have some change gears in chat. I don't know if you saw that.
Yep, carbide over pistol, carbide over pistol.
Perfect.
Guess what we did? Carbide over pistol. Oh wait, that's assault machine. I actually want that.
There it is.
And that one.
Looks like it's heading for the dock.
That will take us to Paris.
Hopefully.
Stay close.
Yes, Mr. DeWitt.
Call me Booker.
All right, Booker.
Our ice.
Should we head to the gondola or take a look around the boardwalk? I suppose a place like this might have much we'd find useful.
Try it yourself.
Can I? What flavors have we got? Lemon. That doesn't.
Eagle.
This doesn't say. This doesn't say what any of the flavors actually are. It just says that one of them is lemon.
The only clearest one.
I mean, lemon's a good flavor of ice cream.
In the 19th century, there were a lot of wild flavors out there for ice cream.
There still are a lot of wild flavors of ice cream out there.
True. But one early 19th century cookbook that I was looking through for fun had like oyster ice cream, and so it gets wild.
I mean, I've had lobster ice cream before.
You have?
Yeah.
What is it like?
Not terrible, cause it's just cream, right? It's like a lobster bisque is good, and technically lobster ice cream is just that but cold.
No doubt from lockpicking lessons.
Okay.
It's just.
I never even heard of this place.
That still doesn't sound great in my mind, but
It doesn't sound amazing.
Guess I got a bit.
It is not as bad as you would think it is. I think that is the better way of phrasing it. Not that it's good, it's just not as bad as you thought.
Solid. Has anyone in chat had any interesting ice cream flavors?
Founder's
someone
Books.
said no Parmesan flavor ice cream.
No Parmesan flavored ice cream. Sad. Big sad. Oh, this is where I came in from, is it? Right. I don't know. Like, savory ice creams always sound like they'd be too weird. So I don't usually like go and try them.
Interested in gardening, Mr. DeWitt?
They frown on gardens in my part of town.
Where's that?
The part with no gardens.
I dreamt of standing in a room looking at a girl who was.
I mean, it wasn't until like the beautification movement in the 20th century that cities mostly started getting parks and gardens
I'm
and things.
Independent contractor. Used to work for the Pinkertons.
See, this is why I don't bother playing the audio logs.
True. He just started talking about the Pinkertons, and that was really good to hear.
Quick to striking.
Oh, it's this.
So now that we missed that literally entire thing, my mother took that for a nightmare on eyesight as beginning of a career in physics. Okay. Right, that's why I don't bother doing it, because, you don't get to hear anything of what Miss Lutesh is saying. Well, that's the gondola. I don't... I know that there's goodies to be found hiding somewhere in this part of town. I want to find them.
We always gotta get that route.
You're just sleeping.
Leave take everything in Columbia that isn't nailed down is
Exactly.
a good goal.
Exactly.
Oh, someone had black licorice ice cream. I'm already not a fan of black licorice.
I've had licorice ice cream too.
But
I don't like licorice. It was not good. Not a fan. But Iceland freaking loves it. Iceland freaking loves black licorice. And so you can't escape the stuff.
Wow.
They also make really good ice
I
cream
could
though.
not imagine. And yeah, someone in chat does bring up the Marie Curie parallels. So of course that's just because... I feel like that's mostly just because famous woman in science from around the same time period. So I guess they did do similar work, kind of, in physics. but
Yeah, I mean, obviously the works are not actually comparable, but in terms of the idea of, oh yeah, how do you treat a high-profile female scientist in the late 1800s, despite having a long tradition of scientific inquiry among women for frickin' ages?
absolutely.
Chad? Chad, is it
Curie
time?
died in the 30s, but I might be wrong.
Chad? Should we do it? Reed, should we do it?
That is a good question. Let's go for it.
Put it back where you found it.
No.
I won't say it again.
Oh wait, is this just another shotgun?
All right.
Oh.
No need to get emotional.
Is this just another shotgun?
If it's just a shotgun, that's kind of lame.
Right, because if this is a flamethrower, we're doing it. If it's just the shotgun again...
I was hoping it would be something with a little bit more power behind it, but...
Oh, it's a Vox Populi heater.
Oh. Oh boy.
Gotcha. We're good.
That carbine's certainly coming in handy.
Yeah, I do need some sort of long-range option here. But, hee. Worth. Well, everyone vanished. Fair enough. Quick, hop on the merry-go-round, pretend everything's fine. No one will notice.
This is where you slow down, let Elizabeth have her fun. Just
Exactly.
enjoy the merry-go-round in general vibe.
Gotta enjoy on top of Old Smoky. Hall of Heroes.
Yeah,
That
that's
way?
finally...
Is it time? Is it time? No, it's not time yet. It's a mandatory area.
Sad.
Oh, the kids weren't scared off by the explosions. Great. You love to see it.
I mean, they're kids, and this whole thing is themed after warfare, and there were tanks in that image just there, so...
Yep, and I'm very carefully not looking at that image because that's way too appalling to show. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. 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 Nope, let's get the hell out of here.
I need to summon the gondola if we intend to reach that airship.
Ow.
Looks like this runs exclusively on shock jock.
Dang it, I need to go locate one.
No.
Where in the hell are we gonna find that?
Look, come see the future of power at the Hall of Heroes.
Now it's time.
No, there you go.
Find Shock Jockey at the Hall of Heroes.
I know I sound excited to go see the Hall of Heroes, but I know it's
Oh.
going to be horrifying.
Oh,
so-
it's real bad.
We're already past the part of the game that I can say I vaguely know, so I'm just excited to see what the game does and happens.
Oh, I panic birded. Ignore the panic bird.
I guess the question is, are you attracting birds or are you just creating birds out of thin air?
Yes?
Yes.
Both. I'm gonna go with both. Please give carbide ammo. I need carbide ammo. Because we are real low. We are real low on carbide ammo.
Have any enemies used carbines?
Nope.
At least that we've seen. Okay.
Nope, they've pretty much all been using, they have pretty much all been using what's this face? Oh, and these guys don't even sell Vox heaters, either ammo. So that is truly a limited resource. Alright.
I found some money. Want it?
I would have rather had ammo, but yes. Oh good, we made it.
Hall of Heroes.
Possession 8, Crow's Trap 8, Devil's Kiss 8. Fair enough.
Until further notice.
And there won't be a line to get in.
True. True. Would you... What else would you use it for? Well,
What the hell?
Is something wrong?
Gee.
Nothing I can't fix.
Is something wrong?
Gotta get this thing moving again.
Don't know how you're meant to do that in a stuck elevator, because I think you're not supposed to meddle with anything.
Yeah. We have no fear.
Oh, it's a bee. I hate these things.
Jeez, just kill it.
No, it'll sting me.
Elizabeth.
I have a better idea.
What are you doing?
Opening air.
Oh, shit.
Did you just take care of a bee?
I used to open them all the time in my tower.
What
So
is
instead
a
of
tear?
just
It's like
ignoring the bee,
No, she got rid of the bee by opening a window.
Dishwater, a different colored towel or tea
to
instead of
another
coffee.
dimension, pretty much.
But sometimes I see something amazing and I pull it through. There.
Good God. I don't suppose you've got an airship in there?
I don't think so. But there is. There is something. Oh
That's
no!
our old friend
I'm
Songbird.
trying!
Close it!
Well then.
I don't really understand what I just saw back there.
The
Sure as hell looks
Songbird
like a shortcut to getting us
dove
killed.
imagery is kind of cool because you can think
I
of
can
it
handle
like a
whatever comes
mechanical
along.
Holy Spirit, kind of.
Yeah.
But
Have it your way, I suppose.
it's not that clear.
That's more shotgun, that's more shotgun. That's still just shotgun.
Is anyone else afraid about how much ammo they're giving you?
To the sky, Comstock bent his knee and saw with holy prophecy an Eden floating in the mist, by man forsworn, by heaven.
Put that away.
No. No, I won't. You can't make me.
Oh boy.
A righteous
That
wind
is-
is coming. And yeah, that poster is still real bad, but at least that one was disfigured.
True. Someone defaced it, and I support them, even if the people who defaced it aren't the best.
And that's... probably oil. Probably oil.
Probably. Hoping. Oh no.
Sir. Sir. Why did you
Those
try?
poor guys.
Why did you even try? What were you doing in here? Why were you doing in here?
Rip.
Big rip. Big F to those guys.
Look, or a lockpick. Grab it.
What,
Well,
you're gonna make
someone
me...
just
You're gonna
has-
make me go grab it.
Someone just has a lockpick in the toilet.
Seems like they're the ones responsible for this shock jockey product. They should be ashamed of themselves.
It's Jeremiah Fink. Do you think the man understands what those words mean? Good lord, Elizabeth. Hey, what do you know? Fucking Bronco. Also a really stupidly powerful. Stupidly powerful.
That looked really painful, but you're fine now,
to
so...
launch your enemies into the air. Hold and release to create an eruptive trap.
Like... Oh wait, those are salts. Those are helpful. Okay, well these did nothing, so
We will teach Cornelius Slate a lesson. Now, I know you've all come to think of Slate as some kind of war hero. But let me be abundantly clear. Cornelius Slate is no hero. He's been living down in Frankton so long that the man has gone native. If Slate had his way, the damn collards and potato eaters would be up in
okay.
Comstock House running Columbia. Or in your homes.
Okay, I now support Slate.
Yep. Yep.
He has holed himself.
I mean, dude's also super freaking crazy, but yeah.
And it is our job to get him out, alive or dead. Once our gunships arrive, we're gonna storm the hole, clear them out, and have you all home in time for supper.
I like the idea of this crazy old guy just holed up in a museum. Wow, that is really overpowered.
It is real busted. Where's this turret? Well, goodness. They're making this way too easy for me. Oh, that was a body shot flame. There we go.
Over there, a crow.
Oh yeah, that heater's coming in handy with this guy.
Well, that worked.
On second thought, those tears of yours might come in handy next time we're in a scrape.
Well, there has to be a tear around here. You can't just pull them out of thin air.
Well, that worked. That's just more shotgun. I'm gonna say that was a good use of our... That's Barnstormer ammo. That's not helpful. He did have more carbide ammo, though. Oh,
Catch,
thanks.
Mr. DeWitt.
Appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. The broad fear-mongering, you know, that is, you need to take these out, otherwise people are going to take over your families, and etc.
Yeah, I mean, that's present even today, but
Uh-huh.
especially prevalent back then.
Well then.
Daisy starting a revolution, and good for her.
Good flag, we stand. We stand an absolute hero.
Got a tip there were contraband guns hidden in the fellow traveler. Didn't find them, but funny thing, we found some old uniforms under the floorboards from the war. Took guesses as to why they were there, but... Who's there? You're Slate, right? Sir? Put the guns down!
Well then.
You hear that, Comstock? That is the sound you have never heard. The sound of a soldier's end.
Look, a cipher. A secret message from the Vox Populi.
You're the junior codebreaker. What's it say?
Don't know. There should be a code book somewhere.
Uh-huh.
Why would there just be a Vox code book around here?
Reasons? Gameplay? Gameplay.
Gameplay. Fair enough. I need to start thinking more in game logic for these.
This definitely feels like it's a game logic one. I might run out of cash fairly soon. Or might run out
out
of bullets
cash?
fairly soon, I should say.
Okay. I was gonna question because
I've got like 700. Yep.
$1,000.
Yep. I mean, I can burn that all real quick.
Actually know the fella. Seems he's still got a knack for making enemies.
That being said,
Found something.
It's the code book, all right.
let us see what they seem to think this says. Well, Elizabeth, you're slow.
Mr. DeWitt. Looks simple enough. Tip the hat to the Vox.
Well, there must be more to this place than meets the eye.
Okay. Why did you do that? Why did this have to be scrawled on the wall in enormous letters?
Yeah, if it's gonna be that cryptic, I'm not sure you even need this cipher, but I guess that's okay too.
Kaboom. Darn. Apparently not that hat. Sad. Anyway, hey, another carbide. That's what I'm looking for.
Perfect.
God makes all kinds of soldiers, but he only made one Cornelius Slate. My father followed him up San Juan Hill, through the legations in Peking, and as he put it, through hell the order was given. At today's muster, Slate asked me if I was Sergeant Monroe's daughter. I said, yes, sir, I am. Slate said, your father always wanted a son. I hope the fool has wisdom enough to recognize his good fortune.
Aww.
We're on Slate for supporting female soldiers, but yeah, the Battle of San Juan Hill, Peking, all references to just various moments of American imperialism, basically.
Essentially.
San Juan Hill and the Spanish
Mexican-American War?
Spanish-American.
Spanish-American, right.
That's the Puerto Rico.
Yeah. Yeah, Mexican-American will be later, or earlier. Right.
Yeah, Mexican-American was the 1840s.
Yep. Hall of Heroes.
Oh wait, no, that was Colombia, my bad. Not Colombia. Cuba. I misspoke that.
Words. Yes.
Wow.
Regardless,
sorry.
We are using the war that took place mostly in Cuba, that Teddy Roosevelt and his Rough Riders got a really big name on.
And Teddy Roosevelt, yeah, he basically used his veteran/celebrity status now to help his political ends.
Yep.
Take some scrounging, but I'll do my best.
Because being a war hero sure makes you popular.
Turns out, shockingly good way to get far in America.
Oh, the code was a clue to the supplies. At least that's what chat says.
No. Oh well. Well then, this is rather terrifying Comstock imagery.
A little bit.
Like, not the best, biggest fan of that. Not a huge fan. Huh. Do I try out the heater for an RPG, folks?
It is an RPG.
Yeah, but this also is like a fiery grenade launcher.
Veterans! You shed your heart's blood for Columbia, lost limb and viscera in the godless Orient. Comstock did nothing! And yet, look up! Whose image squats above you even now? At every angle and insult! If the prophet would make a painted whore of our past, what fresh rape does our future hold? Let us now make our stand and fill yonder hole with true heroes!
But that wasn't what I wanted. I just got forcibly swapped out for a sniper rifle.
Unfortunate. But
unlucky,
At least-
but luckily the thing doesn't despawn. So,
True.
got him.
Looks like we found where your old friend Slade is.
Just find that shot jockey.
But Slate commenting on Comstock's stolen valor and also just organizing veterans. Veterans organizations became very big after the Civil War, and so it's fair to see how like organized they are when it comes to this. After the First World War, and definitely after the Second, those veterans organizations really became more prominent because those were, you know, filled with a lot of U.S. folks that went overseas to fight,
More
and
time to look.
now several of them actually supported different social movements to basically get what they saw was their compensation for fighting for America. And of course, the Grand Army of the Republic, I can talk about them all day when it comes to how they propagated American civil religion, or at least the major forms of it.
Well, that was a body shot. Lame. There we go.
Yeah, Riley is right in the chat. The Spanish-American War was kind of a high point for American imperialist projects.
There we go. There you are. Sheesh.
Well, there's the Bonnie blue flag in the background.
Yep.
Why not? It's Colombia, of course.
Exactly. Now I can actually hear it, though. God, Colombian evening is no less pretty. Look at that.
Yeah, I love the lights.
Look at all the light pollution. Big fan.
But the Bonnie blue flag refers to Texas, and, you know, it was a very popular song in the Confederacy among Texan troops, but...
Well. Yeah, so anyway, this game did mention, or rather I should say Slate did mention, that we are distorting, or that Comstock is, like, distorting history.
Yes.
So, what'd you say we see just how bad it looks?
Distorting history to suit nationalist projects is very on the nose.
Yes, but you're not ready for how bad it is. I am procrastinating how bad it is.
True.
Anyway, though, first, alternate radio networks. Who needs the power company? Does your life need a jolt? Sad. Try Think MFG Shock Jockey. Thanks, Mr. Fink. Perfect. Nailed it. 10 out of 10.
Amazing.
It's real bad. Reed is real bad.
Oh dear, I am concerned.
I think this is where we get our first Patriot fight, too.
Takes a stand for God and sweetest fatherland.
Stop rhyming, please.
Place where we revere the heroes of our city dear.
Again, very on the nose with
Please.
revering past heroes.
Please stop rhyming. Well then.
So I have mentioned before about, I hope I mentioned before about how American civil religion can take on several different forms. There are many different strands of it. And the type you find in museums is a very prominent one.
Yeah.
Basically, glorifying America's past is the key point of it. Some of you might know that I write articles for my department's website. I will not link those, but in one of them, or at least a draft of one of them, I talked about a certain local monument / museum as basically a temple to American history, or American memories of American past. And that is very apt here because it is basically emphasizing these past heroes to the point of reverence and pseudo-religious or outright religious imagery.
Uh-huh. Y'all, don't surprise me like that. Sheesh. Anyway, this would be a great time to look at the Grand Army of the Republic
Yes,
window
yes it would.
that you sent me earlier. Because,
So, this window, as soon as it's
there
on
we
screen.
go.
So, this window was actually something I noticed when I was poking around about the Grand Army of the Republic, which was founded in 1866, right after the Civil War. It's a veterans organization meant for Civil War vets. And this window is actually found in a church in Maryland, in Lansdowne Christian Church. And so, as you might notice, it has an American flag on a pulpit, and with crossed swords, big old book, probably the Bible standing on it, and it's in memory of our deceased comrades, so those who died in the Civil War. And so, having this literally be in a church is very clear cut. I know around the US on Memorial Day, depending on where you are, the celebrations can be very explicitly religious, with the religious services honoring the fallen dead. But it's after the Civil War that there's really a cult of the martyrs, or at least that martyrdom becomes a major thing. People emphasize dying for the nation and how glorious that is, and overall just how honorable, in their opinion, it is for veterans to serve their nation, even if it's, the horrors of war and ultimately putting them in a bloody conflict, killing other people. So this is a major theme of later American civil religion that was picked up especially after World War II also, but it really started in the Civil War. And the Grand Army of the Republic also, as a result, being a veterans organization, was very, very big on promoting various American symbols. Like Flag Day is a result of the Grand Army of the Republic and a few other organizations coming together to lobby for the flag to be treated with more respect and have its own day celebrated for it. There is just, I think even they were one of the people lobbying for flags in schools and saying the Pledge of Allegiance. So, of course, veterans organizations really helped define American civil religion, at least in later respects. Was the martyrdom more prevalent on one side or the other? Asked the chat. It definitely is present, in my opinion, mostly in the North, but you see that a lot too in some Southern lost cause narratives as, oh, these people were noble and they ended up dying to a Yankee aggressor, is more often how the story goes. But at least dying for a noble cause is found somewhat in both, though dying for the nation is more on the Union side because their nation was still around.
Yeah. Well then, we just did more murders. Commander of the 7th Cavalry. Oh boy, we're in for a time, aren't we?
Oh no, oh boy, we're getting into it now. Commander of the 7th Cavalry, I'm worried about how they're going to depict that.
No, it'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Cornelia Slate has been obliterated. Nice job, Slate. More health.
Feel better already.
Yeah, the thing about, as chat pointed out, it's weird how you don't think about it much. If you are American, you grow up with all this stuff around you, these symbols and veneration of the past and various things like that, kind of just seem natural. And unless you point it out, like, most people don't think about it. Though people,
people super don't think about it.
People from other countries who look at America think, oh, how weird is it that they give so much reverence to their flag, or how weird it is for them to have certain celebrations. And so it's not something that I didn't think about it much until I started getting into American civil religion. So I definitely get that.
Comstock the Prophet is born in 1874. The Battle of Wounded Knee. Comstock leads the charge and wins the day for the United States. His actions earned him the title Hero of Wounded Knee. 1893, Columbia sent around the world on a goodwill tour. This presumably replaces the Columbian Exposition?
Yeah.
Daughter is born. Lady Comstock is murdered. A foul band of anarchists are found to be guilty of murdering Our Lady, and a new battle begins on the home front. Boxer Rebellion incident. Comstock retaliates against the murder of Americans in the Boxer Rebellion, and Columbia razes Peking to the ground and declares secession from the United States. That's sniper rifle damage. I don't care about the sniper rifle damage, actually. Pretty much want to save up for 3 more coins for the other one.
Sniper already does a fair amount of damage, but... Oh no, I see that gate. I don't like it.
I don't like it!
Okay, first of all, calling it the Battle of Wounded Knee is super inaccurate.
Massively inaccurate.
Because, at least, luckily in the... I think it was the 70s was when the biggest shift happened to call it the massacre. Was just sponsored by mostly Native American narratives finally getting into popular consciousness, but...
And the fact that, you know, there were, like, almost exclusively women and children.
Yes.
It's bad. I live in South Dakota. So...
The Tin Soldier is taking credit for the deeds of the real ones. Now your companion...
Do you want to explain what happened with the massacre here?
Did you... Did...
What does he mean?
This is not... Yeah. So, basically, 1890, we are well after the... Effectively the end of the... Plains Indian United States wars. Right? Things are already winding down. Sitting Bull has been assassinated already. The Battle of Little Bighorn was in 1876, so some 15 years previously. But the Ghost Dance is still gaining popularity as a sort of indigenous religious revival, as a way to unify disparate peoples and end up being sort of an counter to American pressure. And so, the United States Army, led by the 7th Cavalry Division, decided that murdering a settlement of women and children was really the best possible way to break morale. And there was no grand charge. They pretty much lined up on the hill and fired into the camp.
Yeah, if I'm remembering right, they were trying to disarm some of the natives.
Yeah, there was a request. Basically, they came in, and there was a request. We're gonna turn around from this. Ew. And the request was, yeah, you need to give up your arms. And they were like, no. And so they massacred the entire settlement of, I think it's 100, I need to look up the exact number. It's over 100.
The numbers I saw were 150 to 300 people.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I was thinking it was like 160 something.
Yeah, there's the Ghost Dance.
Yeah, okay, between 250 and 300.
Wow.
It was not exclusively women and children, but it was probably majority women and children who were non-combatants, had not taken action against the US military recently, and generally were just existing. Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah. Oh, thank you, Riley. Most of the settlement did disarm, except for one who was deaf, and so literally couldn't hear. I'll do what I want,
And-
Elizabeth.
Yeah, all broke loose.
Yeah, it's really, really bad. And so how is it being framed here? It's actually being framed far more akin to narratives about Little Bighorn, which is also really
Yeah.
dumb. And Little Bighorn was the result of so many bad strategies. But
And
also
at
not
least-
super
sorry.
gross. This is all just unbelievably
Yeah.
gross.
It is so terrible. The depictions here are very, very much falling into racist characters.
We're just gonna hide. We're gonna hide. Ow.
But
Sir?
at least with the ghost dance, sometimes people break it up into the first and second ghost dance. Sometimes they don't, because it originates in the at least 1870s with the first one.
1870s, yeah.
And then when the prophet, if you want to call him a prophet, there's the debate over whether or not, yeah, prophet works. But 1870s, once he dies, then it kind of dies down a little bit, but then it gets revived pretty much by another person in 1899 and not 1899, why did I say that? 1889, and
There we go.
Words, I cannot do words today, but he actually was raised by, I'm gonna use his American name because I don't want to mispronounce and butcher his native name, but Jack Wilson was the name. But he was raised by Europeans, and his visions were very much peaceful. They were the Europeans either leaving or disappearing, and the buffalo returning, and things getting peaceful again. The Ghost Dance was very much not a militant movement throughout either of its iterations, and it was very peaceful, but the Protestant newspapers that were reporting on it made it seem like a militant movement trying to cause an Indian uprising against the Americans, and so it was very much clamped down upon by the US government. And it wouldn't be until like the Indian Religious Freedom Act in 1978 of all years for Native American religious movements to actually be respected by the US government.
Yeah,
Even
it's bad.
then, like even then after that act, it was still not great because it was contested on many levels, but
Yeah, Wounded Knee in particular, unfortunately 20 soldiers did receive commendations for their participation in the massacre, and public opinion was more favorable than not. It was, however, incredibly divisive, fairly soon afterwards. As details came out about it, it was not super well received because it does still look bad. And by the 1970s, by 73, there's an official apology for it. Understandably so.
Good, there was an official apology, but the 70s
I think. I'm pretty sure it was an
slightly
official
late.
apology. Anyway. Right. Wovoka, I believe, in his Paiute, is, I believe, his indigenous name.
Yeah, that's it.
But yeah, right at this point, by the time Wounded Knee happens, Crazy Horse is already dead, Sitting Bull is already dead, Red Cloud is already dead. There really are none of the major leaders of the previous generation of the Plains Indian resistance to American imperialism were alive anymore. Not that Sitting Bull was, even though he participated in Bighorn, and actually may have personally dehorsed Custer, which is hilarious, he, in the 1880s, he was the biggest advocate for the peaceful, trying to make a treaties with the United States and find some way to exist despite them.
I can see it in your face.
It's a shame how many actual peaceful attempts there were, and the American media, well, newspapers and journalists and public opinion, just kept up the image of being violent and anti-America and resisting.
Why are you doing this?
I will let people in chat know that the Library of Congress actually has recordings of Ghost Dance music and songs, if you want to check that out. From several different tribes, because it was a larger movement than just a few.
You see, young miss? You see the man that Comstock wishes he was? A real
I
soldier.
don't want to do this, Slade. Just give me what I need.
I will. After you do the same for me. Come and look for me amongst the boxers.
Who are the boxers?
The Chinese. He means us to head to the other display.
So,
Can you hear Comstock's tin soldiers coming to silence us? But we are the true patriots. The history that does not fit in their books.
It is interesting to see Slate pushing back against this inaccurate museum representation.
but he isn't actually pushing back on it. He's pushing back only on one part of it. The fact that this statue is of Comstock. All the rest of it he is cool with. It's just that the statue here should be of Booker, not of Comstock.
Yeah, it's something. I'm trying to find little good things in this whole terrible mess.
Oh no, there's very little good. And I mean, look, wicked grins, horribly caricatured faces, and they all have this incredibly crude, problematic caricature of of your ceremonial feathered headdress.
Yeah.
Also, there was in one of the employee rooms. Was it back here? It was back here one, wasn't it? Oh yeah, right here. And also at the top, we saw this, which appears to be using sort of a plains roach with then Pacific Northwest facial decoration. Not good. 0 out of 10.
And now it's time for the Boxer Rebellion.
Oh, not bad. You are the wrong one. Armory, I need to do more damage. Thank you.
Oh,
okay.
No.
Yep.
Just Orientalism and also racism.
Oh boy.
What is this?
It's the Boxer Rebellion.
What happened there?
In Peking, it was my hand that put the city to the torch. Of course, that's not how Comstock does it.
You're saying that like that's a good thing.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Don't. No.
This really is just getting at images of the Yellow Peril from the 19th century.
Yeah, it is.
If any of you don't know, that's just a lot of just racism against Asians and Asian culture.
Yep. The quick version of what the Boxer Rebellion is, though, is in 1899 and 1900, a secret or semi-secret organization of rebels supported by the Qing government started a rebellion with the goal of driving all foreigners out of the port cities and the ever-increasing violation of treaties that was going on. Just, trying to say, hey, get back in your lane, i.e., get out. You are doing no good for us with the whole, opium crisis of the previous decades.
Yep. And
that has been funded by the British.
Were very unequal and favored imperialist powers over actual Chinese interests.
Exactly. Why did you just kind of casually walk in and stare at me and then... Okay. So, right, the Qing government's gonna stop existing in soon, right? Cici should be resigning, or should be about to die, actually. Yeah, she died 4 years ago. Okay, the Empress Dowager Cixi is gone. The Qing dynasty is about to disappear, and the Republic of China will be formed.
Was yellow skin and slanted eyes
no.
that did betray us
Betray.
with their lies.
What part of that is
Until
betray?
They crossed the righteous path of our prophets' holy wrath.
The British and the Americans were the ones who violated the terms of the trade agreements.
Yeah.
Hello? Hello?
I feel like it's just trying to get at the siege of the legations in Peking. How basically the legations in the city, the embassies pretty much, were put under siege, and so basically a bunch of European powers and America combined forces to fight off the Boxer Rebellion.
Riley, it ended last year. We're in 1912. Riley, the traditional end of the Qing dynasty is 1911.
Oh, I read about this. Comstock led the Colombian troops to Peking.
Comstock wasn't there! The Boxers took my eye and 30 of my friends! Is there even a stone to mark that sacrifice?
Where?
The way this is also just set up gives off the impression that there were just hordes of Chinese boxers versus a few noble imperialists, and
Well,
that is just
yeah.
gross. I hate it.
There's still someone around. Hello? Where are? Yeah, I can hear you calling around. I just can't see you. Oh.
There he is.
I mean, I guess. Did we? Did we?
I didn't ask for this. I have no quarrel with these men.
Heroes never ask.
Hey.
I never claimed to be no hero.
Then what are you? If you take away all the parts of Booker DeWitt you tried to erase, what's left? Come back to the Rotunda. It's almost over.
Once again, the dying like heroes for their nation / a noble cause is coming up.
Yep.
And
Now that you're out of yours, you might realize cages have their advantages.
A choice is better than none, Mr. DeWitt. No matter what the outcome.
Is it?
What if you woke up one day and realized you didn't like what you chose?
Yeah, can't blame you. These were not high moments.
yeah, I can see why he feels a lot of guilt over this.
Yeah.
And I will say, it would be better if we got some more reflection from that guilt from Booker here. But
Yeah, yeah. Would be lovely if Booker actually, like...
maybe a little bit of character development in the face of seeing his past deeds. Though I don't
And
think it was
actually,
at
like,
peak.
explain his perspective of what happened instead of just kind of implying it. And expecting,
Yeah.
you know, that the... just kind of going, yeah, you know, the answer is clearly just assume that Booker has the same perspective that the audience does of, oh no. Where did you come from? I mean, seriously. What do you all think was going to happen?
I realize that the game doesn't really correct the image of the Battle of Wounded Knee.
The
They
game
don't really go
vaguely
back and say,
implies
"Oh, it's a
the
massacre."
correction, but then doesn't actually
do.
do it.
You've seen what Comstock has done to my history.
Yeah.
Now see how he's rewritten his own.
Well then, the
that's
Columbia
nice
is
music.
literally weeping. I love that. That's fancy.
So-
I love it.
It reminds me a lot of Marion imagery actually.
Exactly.
With how some of that weeps and.
Right. This is the first time something related to Lady Comstock I could actually say, yeah, that's Marion. Because there are automata that do that.
Yes, very powerful.
There's a 15th century statue of Mary that's actually in automation, but actually pumps water so she perpetually weeps.
Oh, really cool.
Yeah.
My books never mention anything.
I'm more used to the icons that weep oil or fragrance and essence of some kind.
Yeah, they did the same thing but with an actual statue. I think with rosewater?
Nice. Yep, Lady Comstock being just reduced to, hey, giving a child.
Yep.
I would love some more characterization from Lady Comstock, but
wouldn't it be great?
Lo, while Daisy Fitzroy has murdered my beloved, she shall not have the
What do you mean?
She shall not come betwixt her and prophecy. The seed of the prophet shall sit the throne.
Hey, look at the lovely Iona column.
Yeah.
Big fan.
No, I can't be. I can't.
He wants you to follow in his footsteps.
Well,
I mean, the fancy Corinthian would have been fun to go with, but
We can buy you a puppy, Elizabeth. This isn't that hard. Puppies aren't that hard. Aren't that hard to locate.
You also just have a lot of money from looting all over Colombia. So
exactly. We stole a lot of very rich people's money. So what's the problem?
You know, at this point, how much do you actually need to, like, steal to just repay your debts normally rather than giving
Good
over
question. See, you could buy a puppy with this money.
I really want to see what that book is, but it looks fancy, and I can't quite tell.
Manners, Culture, and Dress, Best American Society.
Ah.
By Richard A. Wella A.M.
I'm gonna look that up and see if it's real, but
Uh-huh.
there is a whole genre of books for housewives and just generally people at home for all this kind of stuff. So I love reading through those. Oh,
Yep. Looks like it says
real.
Manners, Culture, and Dress of the Best American Society, something social, ceremonial, and legal?
Okay,
Something.
manners, culture, and dress, the best of American society, including social, commercial, and legal forms, letter writing, invitations, also valuable suggestions on self-culture and home training.
Nice.
I found an online version of it, which I will link in the Discord.
Yeah. If you have not, make sure you have joined the Discord. Link is in the About section of the stream page. The other half of this looks like it's just a, register, though. Those are names. What's this top thing say? Or maybe not. Those are dates. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
It could be a ledger of people coming to work.
Yeah. Some sort of manifest? Yeah. Not sure.
It was published in 1893. Nice.
Cool. Yoink, my money now. You don't need it. You're dead. The cruel murder of our dear Lady Comstock by the anarchist Daisy Fitzroy. Uh-huh. By the way, Peter, you did point out that there was a stronger reaction to Wounded Knee, because that's what Booker DeWitt, rather than Comstock, was at. But at the same time, right, this is the problem of having your character be the grizzled noir protagonist.
Yeah.
Right, this is 100% the problem of, hey, look at our protagonist is our grizzled stoic noir hero that is a white man with gun.
He's not allowed to have emotions.
But he really
Though
should
that
have
also
emotions
just
here.
plays into some ideas of masculinity.
Prophet Bearer of the Sword brought his wrath up on Daisy Fitzroy and the Vox Populi. He pursues them relentlessly to this day. Oh yeah, there was a Vox event, wasn't there? To those who loved me, I was the most generous of souls. There was no pain I would deny them, no betrayal I would not gladly give. When I had scorched the hearts of all who loved me, the prophet said, "There is nothing you can do for which I will not forgive you. For God has granted me sight, and through his eyes even you are loved." Huh? Wow. Rude.
Yeah.
Like, real rude. Don't do that.
I can get through these bars, but you're too broad.
Rude? I can... Hang on, wait. It's
Let
like
me scout ahead, see if
7
there's some
feet
way to
tall.
move forward.
You should be able to just
I can
over
jump!
that.
I can jump! Hello?
This is game logic time.
Is that?
It's a tear, something I can bring into this world.
It's a freight hook. Well, that's convenient.
As I said, it's a form of wish fulfillment.
Okay.
Alright. Let me know if you want me to bring that freight.
Yes? I'm pressing the button.
Do it.
Alright.
Sheesh.
Well, I did forget to mention the whole millennialist theme around how the seed of the prophet shall bathe in fire the mountains of man.
That tear will give
But
us access to higher ground.
that's just typical
That one will give us a
American Protestantism during this time. Getting into
Not sure I understand
end
this,
of the
but I'm
world
not complaining.
themes. While this combat's going on, I will ramble on a little bit about millennialist ideology, if that's fine. Yes? Okay.
Yes.
So, if I were to say what kind of millennialism, because there are multiple kinds of millennialist ideologies and theologies, if I were to say the one that reflects the beliefs of Comstock the most, it would probably be pre-millennialist, because there are three different types mostly: pre-millennialist, post-millennialist, and amillennialist. Amillennialist is the one that a lot of mainstream churches take nowadays, where they don't really have a stance on it. They don't have a clear stance on when the coming of Christ will happen. Post-millennialist means that Christ's coming, or second coming, will happen after a millennium, after the prophesized millennium, which is like a golden age of sorts. And so basically things will get better, and then the apocalypse, which actually was pretty popular in the 19th century. A lot of people were looking at how things were progressing and thinking, oh, things will get better and then Christ will come back. But you start to get this pre-millennialist notion that Christ's coming happens before the millennium, and that things will get a lot worse before Christ comes back. And so that's actually a theology that's picked up by a lot of evangelical churches, that the world is basically going down the drain, and when it's at its worst, Christ will come back. And so, at least in Comstock, from reviewing Comstock's speeches about, how America is Sodom, trying to establish a new Eden, and how things are basically going downhill, it sounds pre-millennialist to me.
Yep. Rome is the future of the city of God, or beyond the future of the city. The seed of the prophet watches over us from Monument Island. When will she emerge? Capital She, by the way. Only the great prophet knows with certainty. God, he spent so much time filming these dumb things. He spent so much time filming them.
They barely tell you anything.
Behold the miracle child, the prophecy is fulfilled. After only 7 days in Lady Comstock's womb, the miracle child is born. Lady Comstock is a fitting mother to this miracle. The future likely never lies in her little hands. Big old-timey radio announcer.
Yep. I will mention again how this does sound like how some Protestant churches talk about Mary. Not all, because there are Protestant churches that do revere Mary to some degree, but Mary being reduced to the basically method of God entering the world in the form of Jesus is one taken by some American denominations, and this seems to be the case here with Lady Comstock, just being the vehicle in which the prophet's seed it comes.
I've got a bad feeling about this.
Yeah, this great. We got the Patriots, so love these enemies. Basically, just mechanized founding fathers.
Actual mecha founding father.
You know, I'm surprised that they don't explicitly revere Lee in the same way that they do with the founding fathers, given that one secret, in air quotes, society that revered the Confederacy.
It doesn't matter. Comstock took our stories and scrubbed away our soul. Now, he's coming for me. And when I'm gone, all that will be left is the lie.
I mean,
Just give us what we came for.
I would assume that Slate told his followers that Comstock is lying, but I guess
presumably, but we did murder them all. I think we're said to have killed, I think, all of them. So,
Are we really a good guy here?
No.
We're killing a lot of people.
We're killing a lot of people. The game is not giving us choice in killing an awful lot of people.
Like, at a certain point, it definitely goes past self-defense in any kind of moral system, just how many people you've killed.
I mean, kind of. I don't think I've killed like 2 people that have not actively been shooting at me.
True. Fair.
The whole place is ransacked. There ain't no shock jockey here.
It's funny how the chat's talking about how if Washington was a robot, it would be over so quickly. When that sounds like how some people talk about Washington already. Like, people make it seem like Washington won the revolution himself, and through his cunning and piety, that it all just happened. When there were a lot of outside factors that aren't venerated as much as him.
Just a few. I'm just not going to walk through the center of the shinies. I feel like walking through the center of the shinies is just a bad idea.
Yeah,
Anyway.
Yeah, that seems like a trap, but...
Big crank gun. Let's just revel in the glory of that is a one-handed Gatling gun.
What is that?
Comstock ships. He's coming for Slate.
It was Slate who killed for his country at Wounded Knee. It was Slate who stormed the gates at Peking. Slate!
Slate!
Comstock's coming, Booker. But our lives won't satisfy him. Oh, no. He won't rest until he's turned us into tin. I won't let him. He took my past. But that's all he's getting from me.
Again, Slate is only...
Give us the vigor. We don't need to do this.
Here you go, boys.
Poor Slate. He is crazy, but...
Uh-huh. But we have a crank gun, which is actually a historical... Seems to be based on a historical Gatling gun.
Seems to be... But at the same time, you're mobile and moving around with it.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
But it's extremely gamified Gatling.
Very fair. Though, of course, there are quantum mechanics in 1912 in this game, so it's still...
Oh, damn it, I'm out. Out of them.
That ran out of ammo real fast, but I guess...
That went through a lot of ammo real fast. Oh crap, wrong one. Gatling. Ow.
Oh, I'm liking this RPG here.
What the hell is going...
Okay, catch.
I would have rather had the ammo for a better gun than this.
Might be a little overkill for
I would
just
have...
one guy.
That all you can muster, soldier? Come on now, DeWitt! Don't disappoint the boys!
Let me up that.
What is a life compared to a faith?
Oh no, we got a Patriot.
The Lord judges, I act.
I don't know if any of you heard that line from the Patriot, the Lord judges, I act. It sounds very much Battle Hymn of the Republic-esque to me, or at least
Doesn't
in that
it?
same theme. Yeah.
The Lord judges, I act.
Crap. We're fine.
Come on, DeWitt! Show me what you're made of!
We're fine. Pew 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 pew. Wait, where did you go? Sir? Sir? Sir, where are you?
Just vanished into thin air.
Actually went poof.
I don't know what you're supposed to do with all like the lightning traps scattered about the place, but
You just don't walk into them, forehead? I feel like just don't walk into them is a good start.
fair enough.
Night.
You've got a lot of lockpicks saved up.
I mean, we do, but Elizabeth's very bad at lockpicking, and we'll go through 5 of them trying to open any chest.
Oh, right.
Point is, she's not good at it.
Some practice, but I guess. Using a Gatling gun as intended, 5 feet away.
Uh-huh.
Well, less than 5 feet away from the guy.
Well, yeah. Was that not how you were supposed to use these? Oh, there you are. Sir? Sir. I didn't even shoot you. Sir, I didn't even hit.
You're not done here, soldier!
I appreciate the spotlight, though.
Finish it!
No. Chat, what are we doing? Camera's locked.
Looks like people are saying spare.
Mostly spare. Mostly spare.
You're a tin man now! A tin man!
Poor Crazy Slate.
Yep. He does have his beard game is strong.
It is very good.
Press to shoot a bolt of electricity. Hold and release to create a shocking trap.
Bzz, bzz, bzz.
But as someone who, at least way back in high school, operated spotlights for school musicals, I appreciate this. This is...
Good lighting.
I don't know where that's coming from, but it's good.
Right there.
There?
It's
But
just
that angle.
But yeah, the angle. Wait, no, the angle says it should be.
Yeah,
hitting
the angle's not right
here.
at all.
I can't
Okay,
fire
yeah.
my gun anymore. By the way. Oh, I can't fire it at him anymore. Hysterical!
Yeah.
It literally like disables my left mouse button.
Can't go back on that choice.
Shame. I should swap this out for a less crap weapon. Because I'm sorry, while the crank gun is very fun, it is not good. Luckily, they very helpfully provided me with a shotgun for my entertainment.
Now would be a wonderful time for the chat to make you change back to your chain gun, but...
True. True, all 7 bullets in it. And... we're back to the minute man. Oh. Sorry. Ah, with that.
There you go. That was easy enough.
That was.
I can tell what Slate said bothered you. You showed me. Sometimes you have to do what's necessary to survive.
I wish I felt good about that.
And there's finding pleasure in the act. Look, you seem like a decent enough sort. That said, less you know about me, the better.
I would appreciate knowing a little bit more about him.
Yeah, I would appreciate knowing more. I'd appreciate him showing that he was bothered by what Slate said. It doesn't even need to be dialogue. It could just be in his actions or just how his character is. But no, rather
yeah,
than any movement.
He's such a he's so grizzled that he forgot to like have you know, much of anything.
Yeah.
Could that be less loud, please? Please, could that be less loud? Good lord. Well,
But we finally are
totally a fine museum. Nothing problematic about it at all. Nope. But this is a great thing to just think broadly about.
Sorry, that's all I've got.
To think broadly about like what museums do.
Exactly.
Because anyone who thinks, you know, museums are just... Oh, thank you.
Much obliged.
Museums commemorate history, they collect the relics of the past, they present a narrative that they curate. And it's important to have a critical eye even in museums.
Exactly. Because, oh boy, museums are about as... Museums have a great claim to authority, but they are ultimately not faithfully or solely tools of historical inquiry.
Yeah.
Or about teaching the past. They're making choices, and a lot of them.
They can be good, but there are definitely museums that I know of that spin a specific tale.
Even good museums do that. The National Museum of Kernhan, in response to declining viewership numbers, when they redid their Viking exhibit, they got a hugely controversial artist to do these wax sculptures that end up looking like, you know, Vikings the TV show, the museum exhibit.
Oh no. Oh.
Big sad. So... yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, there have been, at least in the religious studies side of things, different religious groups, especially in America with different evangelical churches, founding museums and spreading a specific message. I'm not talking like the Creationist Museum, I'm talking just generally about some museums. So like, museums are presenting a very specific part of history. Something that they carefully chose to either bring people in or just present a view of history that they hold.
I'm gonna gut
Sir. Yeah, that's fair. Oh my god, it's a fair reaction.
Wait, does Elizabeth have her own grabber? Or
I think so. Technically.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh damn it! I've been spotted.
Just no one in this city likes you. Like, Slate didn't like you. Comstock's men don't like you. Soon enough, the only semi-good guys won't like you. It's good time.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. I missed that part. Yeah, she does have one.
Oh.
At least that's what the chat says.
I think I also missed it. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense that she has one. She's got to have it from... She gets around on her own, which means, instead of dislocating my shoulder. So, I mean, she's got to have it one. That's not the kind of thing I would expect the game to, like, forget to do. What? Oh.
Mr. DeWitt,
The name's Booker.
I'll be certain to attend to that distinction. Booker. And there's a moment when we're not being shot at. If you're interested, I've spotted some supplies.
Peter makes a very good distinction. He liked you enough to give you a soldier's death. That is fair. In his mind, that was the best thing he could have done.
Potentially. But I would ask. Well then. What Elizabeth thought we were doing when she said she'll attend to that distinction when we were not being shot at in the middle of a silent hallway.
Vengeance is mine, saith the prophet.
Yay.
Mercy belongs to the Lord.
Wow, they went down real quick.
Well, that was easy. Carbine's real good, guys. Carbine is my favorite weapon in the game, which is why it's very sad to me that there are 0 carbines in the second half of this game.
Oh no.
I know, right? My first playthrough, I invested really heavily in the carbine. Because, duh.
Yeah. Who wouldn't? I mean, it seems like a great gun, but the game just decides, you know what? You don't need that.
Exactly.
Possession now turns machine and...
Okay. Cool.
I always wanted to come back.
To what? How do you do that? Whatever it is.
For all the Patriot storage, there will be some later that aren't.
I read literature on physics and other such things.
Yeah. And what did that teach you?
But I don't want to spoil the surprise of who that is, because it gets into some stuff that I'm sure Adam will complain a lot about.
Uh-huh. You know it. Well then. There's a big old motorized Patriot right there, which means we are in trouble. Ow. Excuse me?
Wait. Is there actually fall damage in this game?
Yeah, there is.
It never seems like there's fall damage anywhere else, so I am surprised, but okay.
I mean, there's at least this fall damage. Also, that was really loud. I really dislike when things are really loud.
The gondola's coming!
He will abandon you, my sweet Elizabeth. Once he has what he needs, he will leave you alone. What else could you expect from a liar and killer of women?
Hey.
Father, prophet, whomever you are, I'm leaving and there's not even to stop.
Oh, sweet child. That's where he's wrong.
On it!
Stage 1, Patriot. Stage 2, go in circles.
jump off one of these rails onto is really powerful.
Fall off, damn it.
I really love / hate this game. That is a big move.
Sums it up pretty well, doesn't it?
Yeah. I'm enjoying like the American religious references and various parts of American history because the late 19th and early 20th century is my bread and butter, but also it's the late 19th and early 20th century inspired, and so it is a choice.
Fall off, sir. Sir. Damn it. Sir. Really?
I'm surprised you weren't able to jump on there.
I was spamming the space button. Oh well. Oh well. Thank you, sir. I don't suppose you've got like a health kit? No? Oh crap. I don't have the health to take on anything.
Oh yeah. You're either gonna have to really
Patriot versus Patriot, I believe. Come on, Patriot be Patriot, let's cheat. Crap.
Let's hope this Patriot's aim is true. You're gonna need it.
I'm pretty sure our Patriot loses, but
oh no.
Not by much.
What is anarchy if not a knife in the back of our coffin?
Pew 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 pew.
In the meantime, I did pull up Anthony Comstock, the real-life person. His traps for the young, and at least one of his writings, in which he rails against the dangers of gambling, advertisements, half-dime novels, medical quacks, free love, artistic and classical traps, and oh, he even uses the word infidel in here. So you better believe that he is defending traditional Victorian morality.
Oh yeah. 100% unproblematic.
Think you can crack this one open?
I'll see what I can do.
That was easy.
Got it.
Turns out when you've got a Patriot to bullet sponge, all job's pretty easy.
Works perfectly.
And hopefully we'll get some time to heal.
Kept repeating a woman's name. Anna.
I don't want to talk about that.
I'm sorry.
But Booker, please give us your backstory.
I wish at some point in this game he actually opened up and talked. At this point, I'm just begging him for just
please
any kind of characterization.
I ended up here. I gambled, and now I owe money to men you don't want to be.
We've looted plenty of cash, so it should be fine.
Me busting you out.
You just like steal the entire treasury of Colombia? I'm sure
somebody who was
you don't need anyone
marker in exchange for you.
Exactly. Right. Come on. We looted 1,000 silver dollars. Actually, we've looted way more than that. We've looted like 3,000 silver dollars at this point. How much
This is
debt do you owe?
1912.
How much debt do you owe Booker DeWitt?
True. Yeah, this is 1912. I'm sure it would pay off a fair amount. Also, yeah, the real life Anthony Comstock would have paid at the Oneida community.
Problem. No? Well then. Great success. Good job. And we're fine. Totally fine. Not even a little bit dangerous. Yep. Nailed it.
Oh yeah, I'm going through this book from the
Oh,
real
boy.
life Comstock, and it sounds like Comstock in the game a lot. At least in this one chapter called "Infidel Traps, Liberal Traps, etc."
Oh boy.
To quote him, liberals and infidels are the only class who have undertaken by systematic and organized effort to defend the dealers in obscene literature or repeal laws of Congress prohibiting the transmission through the mails of this infamous matter. So yeah, this
Grim.
guy is
Grim.
you can really see the comparison.
Yep. I wonder what's in here. A city mourns. A city mourns. Ba ba ba. Lady Comstock's tomb opens for public viewing in Emporia. Well, super dead. Columbia will never forget your sacrifice, dear lady. Riley,
For
yes,
Lady
yes you do.
Comstock.
What?
F in the chat for Lady Comstock.
True, true. Button.
So, looks like they call you the false shepherd.
And you the lamb.
Let's not call each other that.
Suits me.
How do you figure they'd know you'd be coming?
Either they've got a prophet on their side,
Har har.
or them that hired me also wrote the signs.
Why?
Got me.
That's a Comstock Patriot. Can I not? Do I have to walk into this?
I don't think it fights you. At least
I know, but I don't feel good about this.
It's scary.
There, we just took 2 literal bars of silver. Surely that's enough.
I just don't know how much debt he's gotten into if this is not enough to satisfy him.
How much? Okay, what?
You can probably sell this airship too. Like,
Exactly.
I'm sure that will pay off any debt.
Exactly.
You alright?
I want to see Paris. I want to see everything.
It's up to you now. There's no one...
Wait, what is that? 40 north by 74 west. That's not Paris, that's New York.
Yep.
One thing I had in that tower was time.
Yep.
To it. Time to study things like geography.
I owed money. And there's a fellow who...
We just said
He
this.
offered to wipe away my debt in exchange for you.
Yeah, we'll go to Paris afterwards.
I'm pretty sure this is the second time he's explained to her.
Exactly what was happening. Yeah. We just said this, and now you're sad about it? Come on.
Elizabeth, it's gonna be okay. Come on. Everything's gonna be okay. Will you just turn around and talk to me?
Oh boy.
Bonk.
Ow. Literally just talked about this, but also ow. Turns out the girl's no fool. Thank you, Booker. Real helpful. We need to stop by you. You could have just said we need to stop by New York in order to get some food for the trip.
Very out of the way and probably a terrible lie, but
I mean,
yes, you could have said that.
Better lie, because at least we're nearby, right? Oh, come on. Well, the Vox are taking over it. Ooh, good music.
Yeah.
Ow. Ow. Literal salt mines. What? Wait. Why are there salt mines on the?
Well, maybe they're just
So
breaking
you're
up
this
salt,
false shepherd we've been hearing
but
so
still,
much about. Caused a mess of trouble after Ralph.
I'm confused as to why they are mining salt on a airship.
floating
I
city.
got no quarrel
Yes.
with you or your Vox Populi.
Also,
my airship you're hanging
finally,
me out of,
Daisy,
and I got
the
perilous
revolutionary, the one we all are supporting right now.
Like old Comstock's airship to
Listen,
me.
I ain't looking for a fight.
There's already a fight to win. Only question is, which side you on? Comstock is the god of the white man, the rich man, the pitiless man. But if you believe in common folk, then join the Vox. If you believe in the righteous folk, then join the Vox.
My ship.
And the Vox shall give her to you. But first, you must help the Vox. Down in Finkton, there's a gunsmith who can supply weapons to our cause. Get our guns from him, and you shall have your ship back.
Ow. Oh. Was that strictly necessary?
Could have gotten you a little closer, but
Was that strictly necessary?
I will say, based on what she said there, I can comment a little bit about African American civil religion, because like I said before,
Heck yes.
American civil religion is made up of many different smaller groups and trends, and among African Americans, civil religion is still prevalent. It's not just, although the dominant form of US civil religion is very white, there are African American civil religions, and at least one lecture I saw, they described it more of a Jeremiah kind of nature, where they are railing against the issues in the system rather than commemorating them. Where civil religion and dominant white civil religion really tries to commemorate the golden parts of American culture. A lot of African American civil religion focuses on, hey, look at all the problems in the system and the people who are trying to fight against it and fix it. Like, although Martin Luther King is not so much of a great example because he has been in some ways whitewashed to fit the national civil religion. Them, along with basically people who resist the who resist the problems and institutional issues in American culture, are honored more in that kind. Like in the chat, they did point out Malcolm X, Harriet Tubman, people like that. You'll see commemorated more, and so this kind of fight against the system is very common in that kind of civil religion. And yes, Peter in the chat points out about how Gilded Age America was terrible for black people, and especially moving into the early 1900s, because 1920s were horribly racist, and you even get the resurgence of the KKK in a few years after when this game is set, but of course in this game it was kind of bad. But
sad.
What just happened?
Sad. Ah, crap.
at least in what Daisy was saying, Daisy's comments about the righteous fight for, you know, freedom and things like that for the people, that is reminiscent of a uniting character of civil religion. How it's how to them, at least in African American civil religion, to them to be American is to point out the flaws in the system and fight against them. It is less content with the way things are than the dominance of a religion.
Alright. Well. First step of the run. There's still someone around. I can still hear them.
Oh, someone in the chat that said, Reed, does your area of study necessitate learning about the KKK and their history? Yeah, kind of. Because I, for those who don't know or missed last stream, I study religious studies, and specifically I try and focus on American religion, or American religion is a hotly contested category that I could ramble on about forever, but specifically with how I try and look at that time period, the KKK was a very Protestant group. It rooted a lot of its rhetoric in a Protestant American ideal, and so I did my own digging into the KKK, and yeah. And yeah, what is into the humanities? That's a very good question. Even the term religion is something you won't find any kind of agreement on.
That's an understatement.
That's what you wanted?
Yeah, they're literally most papers when it comes to theory around religion have an obligatory, let's try and define religion real quick section, and that is always difficult because no one can agree. And what is a religion is rooted in Western concepts, and so when applying it to non-Western cultures, you really have a lot of trouble. Like the whole debate around whether Confucianism is a religion. And also, someone says, hello. Oh, hello new person in the chat. What do you think so far about Bioshock and also the religious aspect used in shaping the story/world? I find it fascinating. It makes it very compelling to me as someone who studies late 19th and early century America, and it makes it very real to me how they employ some of those. But I feel like they could have gone a little further in some of their... They could have gone a little further is what I'd say. Because they really... There are times where they pull their punches a bit with how in-depth they want to make the religious allegories, or how clear they want to try and make religion part of the world building. Because there are many elements of late 19th and early 20th century religion that they could have brought up, such as revivalism, but at the time, it's mostly just allusions to those.
Snipe. You want to know what we do to pretty little stowaways? Or maybe you don't.
Hey! Just stop for a minute!
So when we finally find Elizabeth again.
I know, she was gone for all of about 5 minutes and one whole death.
I just want to talk to you!
What are the examples of revivalism in the game?
I don't know that the whole thing is sort of revivalist overtones, but not really.
Yeah,
it's like a weird techno revivalist.
It's interesting because in the game, of course, the prophet looks like Dwight Moody, and that's a very clear thing that I keep coming back to, at least when it comes to images. But there are born-again themes throughout the game. You'll see, at least in the flashbacks to Booker getting baptized, it feels revivalistic in some respects, but born-again Christianity is not exclusively revivalistic, and it can be broader, but that's what I was talking about with the game, not really going fully into the late 19th and early 20th century religion, and rather just sticking with vague references to it.
Exactly, right? The baptism is probably the clearest instance of this.
Someone asks, "Is this your first playthrough?" It is mine, but
it is not mine.
Yes. I am very happy to be along for the ride because this has
Exactly.
been a blast so
The thing I think the game does best, just so I don't have, is just.
I feel like.
Ah, crap.
You go. I'll get back to. Well, someone in the chat says, Columbia, I feel like Columbia is a revivalist city. First of all, can you explain a little bit more what you mean by that exactly? Because I just want to make sure I'm on the same page as you, but using terms is tricky, especially with revivalism. In the chat, they're saying Columbia would fit in the second Great Awakening. You hurt my heart. Everyone... Okay. Someone did bring up the third Great Awakening, and I have opinions. So... The third Great Awakening is a periodization proposed by William McLowan. I have issues with William McLowan's periodization, purely based around... He goes... How do I want to approach this? But, basically, calling something a Great Awakening fits very well with Calvinist historiography, rather than more Methodist historiography. Calvinist views around revival and conversion is that it's more a gradual thing that happens in waves, while in contrasting that with a Methodist standpoint of a continual revival, that the Methodists, the way they wrote down the history of revivals was more along the lines of it is something that is continuing to happen over many different years. And so, second and third Great Awakening happen both well, I say third Great Awakening, I still don't like using that period. The years that he proposes itself is fine, it's just the term itself is very loaded, and so I'm hesitant to actually use it, because it either is reducing the revivals down to a more Calvinistic standpoint, or it is trying to make it fit into that cyclical model rather than a gradual, continual model. And that's a debate that's still going on in academia. Catherine Long has a very good paper about the revivals of 1858 and how they're not really in the Great Awakening scene, but they're still very important. And so whenever I try and reject the third Great Awakening, I'm doing it mostly because there's a lot of different movements, and I really don't want it to all just be lumped together as, oh, it was a Great Awakening, and it resulted in people becoming more religious, because that's not quite the case. There are a lot of different things going on, especially like the emergence of the New Thought movement, Christian Science. You see a lot of different denominations being born, the Holiness movement. African American churches are exploding because now they're no longer slaves. It's a wonderful time for religious history, but calling it just one third Great Awakening is a little weird in my opinion. Hopefully that made sense. I rambled on for a bit, but they also pointed out in chat how Second Great Awakening was more about social reform, bringing heaven on earth. I would argue that at least the period of the late 19th century, that was still very prevalent. Like, you have the whole temperance movement, and you have the social gospel movement emerging too. You have a lot of different things there that are about social reform as well. And yeah.
We're good. We're good.
Oh, and to one comment about the city being like Eden, there is a really interesting push in, at least among groups like the Salvation Army, to sanctify the city, because it was a common view that cities were centers of sin and basically eroding morals. So it's I feel like the city very much is emblematic of if like the Salvation Army pretty much had their way and sanctified the city, had that open space. I think they even called it like a cathedral of the open space. There's a really good chapter in Robert Orthi's Gods of the City about this, but about how the city can be sanctified and public space sanctified, and that was the effort of the Salvation Army, early on at least.
Ew. Okay, that was intense.
It was, and you survived, and did.
I survived. I didn't die.
Yeah.
That's about the best I can say, but I didn't die.
I am dreadfully sorry that I just rambled on
It's
throughout
fine.
that whole. There's also important plot there, but like getting back to
Yeah.
Elizabeth and
None of this plot is actually important.
Yeah, we'll see that in a moment. Well, a bit. Still a good amount of gameplay left till that point where a lot of plot just kind of goes out the window.
I don't believe in plot mattering.
Oh, the chat mentions the evolution of
Senseless
religious
Music
identity.
has some really good comments here.
Yes.
Who sent you to find this person?
Daisy Fitzroy.
She's either a great hero or the worst of scoundrels, depending on
The chat did mention the evolution of religious identities and belief in the U.S. with the influx of Asian immigrants and the adoption of concepts from Hinduism. Yeah, that is fair, because at least in 1893 with the Columbia World's Fair, you also get the first World Parliament of Religions. It's the first major exposure of the American populace to religions from around the world, like Hinduism and just Buddhism too. There were just various representatives from all around the world sent there. Of course, there were notable exclusions. They didn't allow any African Americans, and they also didn't allow any Native Americans. So, again, typical racism there, but it was a big point for them actually being... Oh, Islam was represented by... I'm blanking on his name, but someone who actually converted to Islam. And although he kind of sanitized it a bit, he... well, most of the presenters actually kind of sanitized things a bit to be better towards American audiences by basically ripping the religion out of its cultural context and trying to package it in a way that's more presentable. So, yeah, there were... It wasn't entirely representative of the religions itself, but there were attempts to introduce those ideas. And at least in the history of the field of religious studies, it does emerge in... religious studies does kind of start to emerge with comparative religions around this time, and looking at that. But it comes from a theological standpoint, and so it still has a long way to go before it's actually proper religious studies. Could you link a page about the event in the Discord? Sure.
Yeah.
This is the first you've heard about I'm assuming you mean the World Parliament of Religions, but I'll get right on that. The person who made or organized it actually wrote a few books on it, and luckily copyright ran out, because this is the amazing thing about late 19th century religion, because the copyright's out on everything, and I can just get my hands on it really easily. But yeah, I'll try and get something to you.
What? Oh, the volley gun's a grenade launcher. Well, this is exciting.
My aim is true. I is the prophet.
Ow. Huh.
Get up. Booker!
Well, we're good. Back into the fray.
Oh, the person presenting Islam was Alexander Russell Webb. He's a really cool figure to look into, but he's the one who sanitized Islam to make it fit better with the American intellectual dialogue. It is interesting because he converted or had his first experience with Islam in India, and so his flavor of Islam is more impacted by that.
Well then. You're not gonna tell anyone, right? Cool. Well, we technically survived.
Also, I will put in a note, just if anyone has any questions about anything that I say, if you're watching the VOD or in stream now, just feel free to ping me in the server or on my server too. I am always happy to talk about this.
Yes.
Need a lock picked.
Keep a lookout. All done.
That was fast.
The gunsmith Chen Lin, wanted for known connections to the outlaw Daisy Fitzroy.
Looks like our guys.
There is a funny story about the World Parliament
Yeah.
of Religions, is that the person organizing it reportedly had a little issue with Vivekananda, who was there to present Hindu beliefs. He was a disciple of Ramakrishna, if any of you know him. But anyway, so his reports out on the World Parliament of Religion on that are not very fond of Hinduism.
Well,
of course, throughout the whole thing, there's a unspoken understanding that it's trying to prove that Protestant Christianity was better than the others, and yikes, but that was the goal of it, to bring dialogue.
I mean, that's kind of... I feel like that should always be the assumption.
Yeah, at least with America. Oh,
yeah.
Someone actually has a good question in chat. I love all these religious studies questions. I'm really sorry if I'm not giving you enough time to talk about the game.
Nah, don't worry about it. I'm really actually just trying to figure out where the heck we're supposed to go, so you keep going. I will be back with the regular history side of things as soon as I get to an outside.
Someone's asking what makes theology different from religious studies, and that is a wonderful question that I am plagued with every year of my life, because everyone assumes I'm either trying to be a priest or something like that. And so, religious studies is the academic study of religion. It does not assume that there is a God. It's very agnostic in that sense. It's not atheistic, really. It's just more... You are not trying to make claims about the divine or God, while theology is coming from a specific tradition. If you are a theologian, you are in a religious tradition. You are trying to make a claim or argument about the divine and speculate about their nature. Of course, the lines between religious studies and theology are blurry at times, and there is some scholarly debate about how much participation religious studies scholars should have in a religious tradition, and how much dialogue they should have with theologians. I lean more towards the side of there should be dialogue with the community, because your work is still impactful to them. But that's just my personal opinion. Of course, there are many thoughts on that, but that's a simplified version of difference between theology versus religious studies.
My personal creed. What is the most admirable creature on God's green earth? Why, it's the bee. Have you ever seen a bee?
Virgil approves, by the way. Big fan of bees over there.
Take a sick day.
Also, Latter-day Saints, at least in Utah, they have a beehive on their flag
They
because
do.
it's representing industry.
They do. Yes? Hello, phone?
Hello?
Mr. DeWitt?
Yes?
Hold for Mr. Fink, please.
What's going on?
DeWitt, Fink here. Listen, my boy, we've had our eye on you, and I can tell you right now that you are our top candidate. Top! Now, my associate, Mr. Flambeau, will help you with anything you need.
What the hell was that?
I have no idea.
He seems oddly pleased to make your acquaintance.
Yep. And by, well... Hey, look at that. So, we went from Comstock, you know, the whole area being American imperialist religious, to being, extremely American imperial industrial.
Yeah.
So, right, I mean, for Fink, my gut feeling is Carnegie.
That is very fair.
I was trying to find a picture of a younger Carnegie. Though Rockefeller might be a little bit close. Oh, no, Rockefeller's way closer.
Yep. That's fair. Carnegie,
Right, we're gonna do a mustache comparison. Cause Carnegie has a beard game, Rockefeller has a mustache game.
Yep.
Shady establishment. You see, the Fink Company store brings you Fink products at
Yep.
a price designed
So,
specifically.
I mean, this is a tactic that they used all the time. So, basically, wages were not paid in, dollars.
Mr. DeWitt, well,
Wages were paid in company bucks, which could be used exclusively at the company store.
What does Mr. Fink want with us?
Excuse me, but Mr. Fink's interest is strictly in the gentleman.
But why?
So sorry, young miss. But any questions regarding the gentleman's application should be taken up with Mr. Fink directly.
The hand cannon is great.
Doesn't strike me as good news.
And the industrial auction house. Well, slaves. It's the slave auction, but...
Oh no.
This is a more extreme version. I'm not aware of a whole lot of auctions here, but 19th century labor history is not my thing. I do medieval Scandinavia, where the enslavement is pretty straightforward.
Yeah, now it's
But
just
this
hard to
doesn't...
figure out who's being
This
enslaved.
rings like this is a gilded... Like, what if slave markets were Gilded Age? Rather than a historical reflection of a historical reality. But, once again, right, this game is really good at communicating the sense of just how everywhere it is. And as I said, like, this is the thing the game does the best. While it doesn't make the strongest argument, it doesn't commit to its argument, especially actually coming forward. But it does a really good job of showing how these are literally everywhere.
Oh, Henry Clay Frick, what a guy. I mostly know him from his, you know, helping to start the Johnstown Sleds, because he wanted to have, at least according to stories, which might be anachronistic, wanted his wide carriage to fit across a dam, and so they weakened the dam to make it wider, and then it broke, and the flood killed hundreds of people.
Thank you, yes.
Perfect timing!
I didn't even do anything this time, they just decided to all come shoot me.
Also, Riley, if you do make that playlist of old Union songs, please send it to me too. But
I never heard that song before.
I don't suspect anyone.
U.S. labor history, especially around this time, with miners and strikes, like you have the Homestead strike and things like that. Reed, was there ever a time? Was there ever a big overlap between religious beliefs and market practice? Yes, there was.
Yes, absolutely, all the time.
I mentioned it last stream, but there's actually around the around the turn of the century, mostly around the 20s, is where a lot of America's consumerist kind of tendencies come from. Maybe, well, yes, they come from a little earlier too, but that's where it mostly develops in that urban environment. That after the cities bring people in and together, and big companies rise, that the consumerist side of America really comes out. And so in that time, a lot of people start trying to use their religious beliefs to more or less trying to negotiate a way that their religious beliefs can go well with this consumer ethos. Whether it's books written about, there's a book called The Man Nobody Knows, who is about Christ as a businessman or a shrewd hustler, basically. And there's also just the whole prosperity gospel movement kind of emerges around this time. It was around earlier. I have seen articles as far back as 1898 talking about the prosperity gospel and how they disagree with it. But this consumerist side of America, at least,
can you open this?
Relates to a lot of market practice during the time.
All yours.
Oh, you know about John Adams and Hamilton. Oh, that's before what I know, but...
There's another cipher on it.
Huh. So we need to find the code book?
Yes.
But there is...
Found it at the Good Time Club. Maybe that's where we'll find it.
Right. Well, that's before the prosperity gospel. I wouldn't necessarily say that... thinking about, you know, late 18th, early 19th century is the wrong way to go.
Yeah, it's...
Because there definitely is some linking together of sort of economic independence with then setting yourself up for a kind of properly set up society, and that includes one that's very interested in sort of righteousness, or the idea of being righteous.
The idea of righteousness and piety relating to your own personal stance in the world and worldly prosperity is not exactly new, but it's in that time frame that I gave that it becomes solidified into a proper movement.
Want to hold on to this?
Anyway, let's see what the Kinexio says.
I somehow completely missed mentioning The Gospel of Wealth by Andrew Carnegie.
Also that!
It is something that I've read several times at this point because it's very short and also, you know, not behind copyright laws, so it's... At least in it, he argues that you should spend your life first learning all you can, then spend your life making all the money you can, and then the last part, giving it all away. And so that at least informs us a lot about his philanthropy and his views on that. And of course, relates to him morally justifying his business tendencies.
His business tendencies that can be summed up as, what if I had all the money?
Yes. What if I had it all, and then maybe build libraries later?
Yes.
Libraries and music halls.
Uh-huh. Rockefeller approved of this idea.
As some of you know, I am from Western Pennsylvania, so Carnegie's influence is really big here, and his name is on so many buildings.
And I went to school at one of the schools that Rockefeller founded. Or, well, rather, the school has a... Yeah, the school was partially funded by Rockefeller and had a giant Baptist cathedral on it. It's now non-denominational,
Oh,
but...
wow.
Rockefeller Chapel, in Chicago.
Yep. Rockefeller was a very big Baptist and helped fund a lot of Baptist churches and movements.
Doesn't cater to idols
And
being worshipped.
actually a lot of, well, some major industrialists were actually pretty big in revival movements as well. Like in a case study I'm doing for a paper that I have nearly written, but
Chen, Lin? Is anybody
H.J.
here?
Hines was actually on a finance committee to bring
Work this place over.
Dwight Moody to Pittsburgh and to at least finance and fund his operation. Also Buddhism.
Also Buddhism exists.
Excuse me. Now, I'm sorry to bother you. We're looking for Mr. Lin. Mr. Chen Lin.
Booker.
Mr. Lin, not here. He gone.
Gone?
They take flying squad. I pray, Gautama Buddha. Pray, give husband back. Give back to Melin.
Where did they take him?
Club. Everyone take to good time club.
Where is this club? Ma'am, please, where is this club?
Booker, we'll find it. Just leave her be.
Why not Fox fully help Chen Lin? Why not Daisy Fitzroy help Chen Lin?
We're working on it. We're literally on, like, we were sent by them.
Cops. Kind of probably got their boot on Lin's throat, asking him how well he knows Daisy Fitzroy.
Isn't she the one we're working for?
Shush.
It is nice to see religious minorities represented somewhat
I know.
in this game.
I'm cool with it.
Because a big problem that games have is they do not represent religious minorities, especially in strategy games. I've actually read a paper about this, about religious conflict in games, and how strategy games really erase that and just show, oh, this area is X religion, and there's no one else. All of it's one thing.
I have a bad feeling about this. Ow.
And yeah, they bring up, it has been brought up in the chat, the thing that I was thinking about a little bit too. Now, you don't really trade the Buddha for action in the physical world. At least in strains of Chinese Buddhism, there are bodhisattvas that some people pray to in order to have some kind of worldly thing. But although theologically it doesn't quite work out the same way as prayer in other traditions, it still does occur in some degree that people are praying for an action. And that's kind of tied up with how Chinese folk religion kind of mixes up a lot of things, especially with Taoism and various other traditions all merging together and becoming a big gray area that religious site scholars will complain over and have trouble trying to make distinctions.
Sense of that. Job's a job.
I have no money. Okay. Handymen are the worst. I mean, handymen, I think, are the first time this game just does a weird.
Yeah.
Right, the game wants Big Daddies. But the game can't find a way to narratively justify Big Daddies.
I mean, they're a songbird.
Yes. But you don't fight Songbird, right? Songbird is a narrative entity.
True. Very true.
So
it's just the most Big Daddy-esque thing.
Exactly. So they created not a Big Daddy for you to have a big fight against.
Oh, that sign that was just back there, killing time
Yeah.
until Columbia. Very much work ethic and nothing else.
Yep.
Valuing labor above, you know, your own well-being and relaxation and self-care. Which, speaking of which, everyone in chat, I hope you're, you know, practicing self-care and being good to yourself. That is something I yell about a lot. So.
Do it, my boy! You know, the best kind of interview is one where the applicant doesn't know he's being evaluated. But I've watched you since the other day at the lottery. You're a brute! And in times like this...
The other day at the lottery, where you threw a ball at him or tried to.
We have done a lot of murders since then, though.
Now, Fitzroy has got the jungle all riled
find Shenlin and get the hell out of here.
Now, all I ask is that you finish what you started to it.
Once again, the game claims it's commenting on our violence.
It claims it is, but it really isn't. Not in anything, not in any meaningful or deep way than just, oh, you're a violent person.
On it.
My money's on you. He's something of an old hand at handling explosives. Only man I know who hasn't lost a limb working with them. Yet.
Huzzah.
What would be great is if the game actually tried to address, is it morally right to use violence given X situation? But, nope.
Damn it. Please hit the shot. Please hit the shots.
You know what? It just hit me. In a game mostly about religion and how they're trying to make some kind of moral society, they don't really address ethics a whole lot.
They super don't. Hello? Aim? Well then. Good thing they've got a bunch of medkits over here, because I'm not good at the shooting.
Oh, good. I mean, you've been pretty good so far. You've gotten a lot of headshots.
But without the old gal, they don't know quite what to do with themselves. Pick this one up at a hiring fair for a song. We're getting excellent results.
Honestly, not even hard.
I do like this whole theater stage setup because it's around this time in the late 19th century that theater becomes a big thing.
Come on, where's the last guy?
Hiding out somewhere. Oh, no, there he is.
Right there.
If he was smart, he would hide.
Enough of the opening acts. Your true rival is an expert with the automata. Wants to replace all our security with machines. I'll give the old boy credit, though. It would be fewer mouths to feed.
I could have actually had something meaningful to say about automation there, but okay. Okay, game.
They just vaguely hinted towards it, didn't they?
Yeah. I mean, that seems to be what this game is mostly doing, vaguely hinting towards themes and religious events and just generally deeper meaning, but it doesn't seem to be happening at all. That carbine is doing real good work.
The carbine does so much work.
That's all I have right now.
Congratulations, DeWitt! You know, when your name was first passed to me, I wasn't quite sure you were the man for the job. But now, I can say with certainty that I was quite wrong.
I'm not interested in your job, Fink.
Can I get the confetti again, though?
I know all about your little job for Fitzroy, but do you really want to take her offer over mine? Do you know how many people would kill to be head of Fink's security? Mr. DeWitt. A top knot. But I promise you this. I will get what I want.
Man.
This would be a good time to bring up his whole involvement in the Pinkertons, too.
We did mention an old Pinkerton very briefly. Right, it was mentioned in passing, as this game usually does, in passing.
Why does it always have to be in passing?
Because the game, I think, was afraid of, like, giving Booker lines to record. I don't know, I feel like, could they just not afford Troy Baker for longer?
It's 1912. It's gonna be 2012 before I'm interested in one like you.
Sneak, 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 sneak. Sneak, 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 sneak. Sneak, sneak, sneak.
It's him! Find something soon.
Yeah, it's really at this point in the game where I'm starting to just see all the lost potential, but I'll try and reserve that for later.
Here you go.
Exactly.
Look.
Huh.
Chen Lin, cell number 9.
Well then. Ellie's... Elzizna, Shahia, James, Cornelia Slate, Vincent. Well then, they're actually suggesting, you know, some amount of diversity present in Colombia.
You want to take a look at this?
No problem.
Which we really didn't see before, so keeping that, at least
they call us in when the workers
the
got
planners
busted.
of the city really
Demonstrate
tried
the
to
folly
keep
of
that
struggle,
diversity away from
going down
the
tools.
white folk, pretty much.
This.
Which
Sometimes
fits with
there's
what we were
precious
saying before about, you know, the design being inspired by the white city.
Done.
Yep. By the way, you just wanted them to talk about Booker's... we were just talking about, you know, Booker's ethics. And wanting them to do a little bit more about mentioning his time with the Pinkertons, etc. Game heard us.
Yeah.
Game heard us.
Good.
We appreciate that the game heard us.
Very good.
But also taking a very explicitly pro Fitzroy stance. Let's keep that in mind. Let's keep that one in mind for like 2 streams from now.
That's it. That's
Oh, good.
for the clock shop.
I actually think there's something worthwhile up there. If I remember right, there's another shield upgrade in the clock shop.
Ooh.
So, backtracking!
Hopefully this will be better than that one chest that we went back for.
Yeah, which, still not sure we actually found the right thing, but... Oh wait, you mean the one that was just empty?
Yes,
yeah.
the one that was empty.
Versus the last code book, which I'm still not sure we actually found the thing it goes to. But that's okay. Oh, good. I am adoring the glitz and glamour of this, even though, you know, our Americana. These are both actual paintings. Why do I not recognize this one?
Oh,
oh wait, this is Christ. This is Christ on the Sea of Galilee. That's what that is. That's Christ on the Sea of Galilee.
Oh, okay. Putting that right next to an American Patriot is a choice.
Yeah. You know it.
That we were supposed to use the hat stand secret switch.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I was pretty sure we screwed that one up, but it's not important.
We'll see.
Because, you know, none of this actually matters in a meaningful sense. You don't get anything apart from some more loot and maybe a Vox weapon.
Tolls at midnight.
Which clock? This looks like the one.
Set it to midnight.
Gee, I would have never gotten that if it was
Sorry. More health. And lockpicks. And a voxophone. And that's just another volley gun. I don't want a grenade launcher. All I tend to do is blow myself up with them. I was hoping that would be a Vox Carbide.
True. The Vox Carbine would be so nice.
I mean, I actually think it's worse than the regular Carbine. But, that's neither here nor there.
Well, then at least the Vox Heater would have been pretty cool.
Oh, true. We could have had more flamethrowers. Well, fire grenades. Good times.
Once again, the music is nice with this kind of jazzy theme.
Yeah. Absolutely. And now we're into the really dark... You know, as soon as we get outside the gilded exterior, it's all just kind of undecorated wood and old-timey wanted posters. Big fan.
The aesthetics really shift around a lot in this game.
They do. And I mean it works. They shift in coherent ways.
Yeah.
It's just exaggerated ways.
Tell us what you know about Fitzroy, you goddamn kook. You know you can
Nope.
hear us. You want to say
Oh
something?
no.
We want us to bring in Mrs. Lynn for company. Throw a bucket of ice water on him. We got 3 more to bring in tonight.
Nope.
What's that smell?
Ain't no privies down here.
They treat them like animals.
Yep.
Oh,
Hello.
there's Slade.
Slade. He looks... You were right. Sparing him was no mercy.
Up in the chat for Slade.
That was what he wanted.
Yep. That seemed worth.
Oh, what did the Comstock thing say?
Which one?
The Comstock box
Oh,
you dumped.
right. We've missed a bunch of these. Heck. I think this was the last one. Unconditional, I think, was the last one we actually read. So, Voxophone times. My man and I are doomed. Doomed as Noble Custer was at Little Bighorn. Yikes. But we shall not yield to Comstock and his tin soldiers. My scout has seen him. Booker's DeWitt is coming here to the hall. He called him... I'm just not going to read the rest of that.
Sounds good.
We're just not going to read the rest of that. Went hand in hand with the desk on Monday. Science is the slow revelation of God's blueprint, from Hattie Gerst. After 2 years in the Lamb's Tower on Monument Island, he took ill with cancer of the stomach. I prayed to the prophet, and the prophet delivered unto us a miracle through his servant Fink. I don't know if I will ever get used to a husband bound in a skeleton of metal, but better a handyman than a dead one. Yeesh.
A little harsh, but yeah, that... It is interesting how they do, how they're combining science and religion, because it's at this time with the early fundamentalist movement that that's when Christian movements start to actually have a visceral reaction against science.
Yep.
While, yeah, that's a pretty modern thing, and still minor.
I mean, deism.
Often, yeah, deism, there. But just the general, the general idea of religion versus science, rather than combining the two, is something that is overplayed, I think, in media.
Yeah. And Fink says, the truth is I don't have a lot of time for all that prophecy nonsense. I tell you, belief is just a commodity. And old Comstock, well, he does produce. But like any tradesman, he's obliged to barter his product for the earthly ores. You see, one does not raise a barn on song alone. No, sir, why that's Fink timber, a Fink hammer, and Fink's hand to swing it. He needs me, lest he soil his own. Well, rude.
Rude, but it sounds a lot like that one book, The Man Who Nobody Knows, who is very much, oh, he's a salesman Jesus is a salesman selling a pitch. And
Yep. But also is a thing that Rockefeller would heartily disagree with.
Absolutely.
So, complexities of thought, maybe. Or capitalist stereotypes. Slate. I hold in my hand the private journal of Comstock's wife. It puts the lie to this miracle child nonsense. She loved the child not. It seems the sainted lady would prefer to just let the seed of the prophet just dry on the bedsheets. Well then. Meanwhile, Daisy Fitzroy, like 3 days ago, I have a pressing need to speak to this so-called false shepherd stirring up so much trouble. We got enough problems without this damn fool shooting up the city and blaming it all on the Vox. Though, if he's amiable, yeah, he might just be the fellow we need for our immediate concerns.
Team up with Daisy. That's the timeline I want to see. But
yep. One day, ain't nobody knows me. Then I think I done for Lady Comstock, and well, everybody knows me. I head to Finkton and I hide. I hide deep. The more they look, the deeper I go. Only thing a colored child can count on is the fact they invisible.
Yikes. But also, being blamed for a crime that, at least this implies that they did not do it.
Yeah, super didn't. Meanwhile, I thought you a fool, dear brother. When you told me you heard wonderful music trumpeting from holes in the thin air, I began to doubt your mental integrity. But not only have you made your fortune from these doodads, you have lit the path for me as well. Leaning towards the next part of the game.
Yep.
Next up, Lance Corporal Vivian Monroe. I came to Columbia because I believed in God and because I believed in honor. But Slate has shown me this. There is no God in shutting our brothers out from the family of man, and there is no honor in defending those who are strangers to its meaning. Perhaps in Finkton there is one more deserving of my service. And then, Comstock being real gross. To tax the black more than the white, is that not cruel? To forbid the mixing of the races, is that not cruel? To give the vote to the white man and deny to the yellow, the black, the red, is that not cruel? But is it not cruel to banish your children from a perfect garden, or drown your flock under an ocean of water? Cruelty can be instructive. What is Columbia if not the schoolhouse of the Lord?
Oh dear.
He being real gross.
Yeah, he is justifying his terrible nature.
Yeah.
Admittedly, he knows that it's cruel, but at the same time, he is justifying it and saying it is wrong. So, yikes.
Big ol' yikes. Yikes out of 10. How about now?
Well, it does echo some
Got a lock here.
19th century beliefs about disease and pain and suffering being instructive, but still, yikes.
Done to deserve to be locked up in a place like this.
Yikes when it comes to governing.
Fink don't need much of a reason.
No, he doesn't. Here's some cash.
Think you can pick this?
Seems easy enough.
Yep.
This is
Yep. I'm in mine.
there.
Do it? You're a lion. But you can't blame me for looking after my own interests, can you? Now I know Fitzroy has come calling, but I think you'll find your business with her has come to an end. Lions walk with lions, DeWitt, not hyenas.
Uh-huh. Yeah, this is, gore warning. If it's not obvious, gore warning. Wanton cruelty warning, this is gonna hurt. Yeah.
Oh dear.
There's a lot of blood.
Oh boy.
We're too late. God damn it.
This is what he meant.
Now we need to find someone else to make those guns.
No.
Dead is dead, Elizabeth.
Dead is dead.
And they're back.
What the hell did...
I see heads.
And I see tails.
It's all a matter of perspective.
I see a bullet hole.
Who sent you? Comstock? What do you want?
What do you see here?
From this
Dead.
listen,
From that angle.
alive.
Booker. Chen Lin.
The body's gone.
It was never here.
It's another Columbia.
A different Columbia.
The same coin.
A different perspective.
Heads.
Tails.
Dead.
Alive.
We have to go through to this other Columbia.
It's like riding a bicycle.
One never really forgets.
One just needs the courage to climb aboard.
Okay.
If we go into this tear, I don't think I'll be able to bring us back. Are you sure you're ready?
Okay, open it.
This is where, in my opinion, the game's plot starts to...
The game's plot just went so far off the goddamn rails.
Yes. It's after this point with the dimension hopping that things get just... They lose track of the critiques that they were trying to make.
The only thing that's changed.
So. Let's see where we're at. That's a lot of Ox.
I wish you were able to free them.
You think it wouldn't be that hard? We have like a lot of lockpicks. We have like a lot of lockpicks.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Oh, good. You are just as dead as you used to be.
Rip him.
You are just I still shot you right here. Awkward.
Oh wait, that doesn't make sense in this timeline.
It shouldn't make any sense at all in this timeline, actually.
Daisy Fitzroy. Come on, you piece of bullshit. Tell me about Daisy. Cut him loose. What? Schofield says cut him loose. Then bring me his tools to the lockup. Keep him clean, I guess. Why? What are you? The Columbia Gazette? The chick's wife got friends
Yeesh.
in places. Come on. We need to settle.
Yikes.
Yep,
I don't understand how Chen Lin is alive now.
We're in a world where he was never murdered. Somewhere we'll find out why, I suppose.
I don't suspect you can change something like that and have everything else remain the same.
Booker, are you actually freaking blind right now?
Yeah, there's a lot going on that he really should have noticed. Peter brings up a good point that he doesn't think critique was ever what they wanted to focus on. They wanted to tell a character story in this time period and include racism and classism because it would be gross to ignore. That is fair, but I would like to see character development in a character story, and as of yet, I would say it's been a little lacking. But since, at least so far, the world building and development has been focused around the story and the world evolving around them.
No, they're not. Their noses are no longer bleeding, Elizabeth.
What was wrong with them?
They remembered.
Remembered what?
Being dead.
So, right, yeah.
What is going on here, Sansmark? As my head of security, I suspect you'll want to find out how these two slipped past your men and what they were doing in the basement! Make me look bad with the boss, will you? Well, we'll see about that!
Does everyone have laser vision now?
That guy just really didn't notice you there.
And that guy really just failed to notice me. Just don't mind me. We're going this way. This isn't the way out, but it's a safe spot. Well, glad it's a worse version of the thing that New Game Plus gave me.
That is really powerful again. That vigor.
The other world. This whole business.
Me too, Booker. Me too. Cause, oh man, this is... Okay, at this point I need to start saving money for this repeater, because unfortunately, we're gonna start seeing this the rest of the game.
You hold on to this.
Real unfortunate. Great. It's not a terrible weapon, but I don't love it.
Yeah, having the carbine would have been nice.
Wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? Also, just...
That's awesome.
Well, I know nominally this is supposed to be better, because...
Watch out, rock cannon!
Oh, crap. I'm not even doing damage to that guy. Hello?
Is it just not letting you grab onto that hook? For whatever reason?
Apparently. Ammo?
Thanks.
Hello?
Game just says no. And
Game said no.
Barry and Mike in the chat says no carbines because this is the bad timeline.
Speaking of which, though, I got a carbine right here. I kept it. I kept it.
Good.
Bamboozled. Ah, crap.
Maybe we can make this timeline just a little bit better with this carbine. It was mentioned in the chat how the bad timeline is coming up, and oh boy, yes it is, but... that is for later, though.
For not this,
Probably not this stream.
Definitely not this stream.
Definitely not this stream, but...
Are you kidding me? We are basically at the end of this stream. As a matter of fact, as soon as we wrap up this area... What?
Fink isn't giving you the job.
What are you looking for? What? What?
Just really wanted to rub it in your face how Fink doesn't like you now. So, I don't think we ever like
I don't know that we care.
Yeah.
I feel like we don't care. Oh well. Oh well. We're just gonna finish up this last bit and then we're just gonna like leave.
Did I hear anything?
Huh?
No machines. No tools.
Let's go find that gunsmith. Maybe he's upstairs now.
More money. Take it.
Okay.
The shrine.
Ah, there we go.
It's a figure of Comstock now.
Sad.
Mr. Lin? Chen Lin? Excuse me, Chen Lin?
Who are you? You speak up. Speak up! Can't hear you over all these machines. Very loud.
I'm Booker DeWitt.
Stand back! These machines very dangerous. Wait downstairs with Mrs. Lin.
Daisy Fitzroy sent us. We need to talk to you about getting some weapons.
Machines very dangerous. No place for stupid people.
Hey.
To lose pretty head.
Rude.
Mr. Lin,
downstairs.
What is wrong with him?
Remember him dead in that cell? Maybe in some way he remembers that too. How would you reconcile that?
I don't know.
Bring Chen Lin back.
Excuse me, ma'am. I'm looking for Mrs. Lin.
I'm Mrs. Lin.
No, I mean a little Chinese lady. She was...
Booker, this is Mrs. Lin.
They took Chen's tools. What's he got without his tools?
Well, your husband is a bit out of sorts.
If he could work again, maybe if he could work, he'd...
Mrs. Lin, can you tell me who took your husband's tools?
Goddamn police. They took them and locked them up. Impound in Shantytown.
Well.
I do find it interesting how the shrine there has the Moses statue of Comstock and also Colombia's flag there.
Yep.
Just to really hammer home the civil.
Oh yeah. But unfortunately.
Lin had a bloody nose.
Seems to be in style.
His hair. I'm not so sure it was a good idea.
You know, I wasn't born deaf. I hear what it is people are saying. Why is it, Mr. Fink? We have to work 16 hours a day.
16 hours a day for work. Oh boy. Gotta love when those reforms don't really pass. Those labor laws.
Labor laws are good.
Well, I can sum it up for you in one word. Morality. You see, my friends, the auto hand is...
Hello?
You take industry from a man's hand. What goes in its place? Whiskey, women,
Weird.
and the dice. And I, for one, will
We stand labor laws, says the chat. Yes, we do.
No, sir.
Tell me something soon.
Well then.
Oh, I do like the music again. This gramophone recording of... Oh, I know the song, I just can't think of it.
Where is the record?
Is it Debussy? I don't know. Someone in the chat might be able to know.
It might be.
Oh yeah, the classic justification of working people to death, idle hands do the devil's work. Yup. Who knows what those, at least speaking from a capitalist perspective, who knows what those poor people would do if they're given free time? Yes.
Anyway, so this is, I think, where we're going to wrap up the stream. So next time we're going to head over into Shantytown and then keep watching as things get worse and worse and worse. And I get more and more frustrated with the video game. And its perpetual lack of ammo. Please give me more ammo.
Thank you all for joining us and listening to at least my ramblings for a lot of semi-related things.
Yep. Anyway. If you enjoyed this, make sure you follow the stream, and thank you to the few people who did Senseless Musing and Mayonnaise during tonight's stream. And if you want to support it more, do consider subscribing, it helps a lot. And, you know, what helps even more is letting friends know. Next stream is going to be Saturday, where I'll be back playing more, it's probably going to be Sid Meier's Colonization. I think that's probably what we're going to do, to take a look at the early Historical 4X, continue that series, as we gear up to take on Old World, Humankind, etc. I started playing Old World. Old World's a lot of fun. But there's some exciting stuff in that genre, so we're going to be making sure that happens, so come join me at 11 AM Central Time for that. Otherwise, next week, same time, same place with Reed for continuing with this.
Ooh.
Yep, awesome.
It'll be a great time.
It will be. And I hope you all have a very good rest of your night.